Hello, everyone, and welcome to twitch.tv/The Onyx Path. I am Travis. My pronouns are he and they, and I will be your story guide as we begin our adventure, Trinity Continuum, Aberrant Vigilance, with our session 0. We have most of the cast with us. We are missing a member. A surprise team member will be joining us next session. But right now we will be doing character creation with the lovely folks you see on this screen, who I'm going to have go ahead and introduce themselves. Let's start things off with, I believe, is this your first time streaming on the channel? Millie, remind me.
On this channel?
Yes, on this
totally.
channel. Well, welcome. Let's start off with our brand new guest. Please.
Oh my goodness!
Tell us who you are, what you do.
Goodness gracious!
Your pronouns and anything you would like to promote.
Well, awesome. That sounds good to me. So hi, I'm Millie. I'm a Cozy Comfy VTuber and a huge fan of tabletop gaming. You can find me at twitch.tv/bunnyhearted, where I do dorky, nerdy things all the time. I've been playing tabletop games for a little over a decade, almost entirely because of Mr. Dorktales, who I adore. That's another channel you can find me on pretty regularly. And my root and tootin' pronouns are she and her, or they and them. I'm so excited to be here. I was reading over this system, and I'm really, really excited for it.
I am so excited to have you here, and I cannot wait to see what we build together to find the story that we are going to tell. I am greatly looking forward to it. And speaking of great and storytelling, Kelly, please give us your pronouns, your what you do, and anything you would care to share with the class.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Kelly, also known as Dorktales, I guess. It's kind of a subtitle. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Dorktales, youtube.com/Dorktales, or wherever podcasts are smuggled or distributed to the masses. I'm a professional storyteller and have been lucky enough to play many times under Travis, one sequential time with Bianca, and many times with Millsworth. Very excited to be here. I love Aberrant, and Aberrant was actually the second or third role-playing book I ever owned in my life. Like the original one,
really?
Like the first edition. Yeah, because I didn't have money, and I didn't live anywhere that sold role-playing books, except for like a copy of the D&D Encyclopedia Magica, which I didn't understand what 2d6 meant, because I had no reference. I'm like, what?
Right.
What is this math? I'm 15. And this was back before the internet was really a thing. So I'm very excited to be here. And also because this is using some content that I can't talk about for fun reasons this time.
That is true. That is true. We will be giving a little bit of a glimpse under the hood of Aberrant, Hated and Feared, which Kelly was on the glorious, wonderful, amazing writing team for.
Nice. Oh, and my pronouns are he and his. I am.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we will we'll get into that Hated and Feared content momentarily. But before we do, last but not least, Bianca, please tell us all of the pertinent details of the you.
Oh, well, hello. I have returned again from previously playing Pugmire, now trying a new game, playing Aberrant for the first time. So yes, my name is Bianca. I, as a day job, work on digital games, but I do occasionally dabble in writing for tabletop games.
Excellent. And we love it when you do the dabbling. You should come dabble more often. We love your work. And it is my sworn duty to remind you all that the Sidereals Kickstarter is currently kickstarting over at Ye Old Kickstarter, and is doing quite well. It's Sidereals for Exalted 3rd Edition. It funded in something like 9 minutes, and is deep into stretch goals right now. So it is a perfect time, if you've not yet done so, to head over there, get involved, get yourself a copy of the manuscript, get yourself a lot of those stretch goals that are currently unlocking and still have more to unlock. So go check that out if you're a fan of Exalted, or if you're not familiar with Exalted, some great opportunity to hop on. I also would like to let you know, since we are doing a Trinity Continuum stream, that this month is Trinity Continuum month. It is the 10th anniversary of Onyx Path. As a result, each month we have focused our attention on a specific game line and offered incredible discounts on that game line over at DriveThruRPG. The current star of the show is Trinity Continuum. So if you're missing any Trinity books, now's the time. Hop over, grab those suckers on PDF. You will find several wonderful books at 90% off their cover price. That's not...
Wow, 90% of their cover price.
Yeah, no, that is off. You can get the Trinity Continuum core rulebook for $1.50 in PDF, and Aberrant's $2.
Wow.
So go over and snag that up. You will also find likewise print discounts with our partners over at Indie Press Revolution. So if you just look up Indie Press Revolution and look for Onyx Path Publishing, you can find a list of the books that are available there. Fun fact, if it's available there, it's also available at your friendly local game store. So you can always walk into your local game store and say, hey, order us a copy of Aberrant. They can do that. I think...
Man, IPR is so dangerous for my wallet. It's such a good site.
It really is.
What do you mean a first premium printing for only...
It really is. I guess now that the bills are paid, we can get into the fun stuff, which is we are playing Aberrant, and the premise is that we will be playing characters in the year 2028 who are members of the Teragen. The Teragen are pro-Nova activists / Nova supremacists / sometimes terrorists. If you're familiar with the X-Men, they fulfill a similar role narratively to the Brotherhood. They want rights for Novas and for Novas to be able to be free to choose their own destiny. And in fact, in a moment here, I will be giving you all a reading as to where the foundation of that philosophy was born. But specifically, aside from being members of the Teragen, our heroes are going to be just that, superheroes. They're going to be members of a faction within the Teragen known as Nova Vigilance. And the concept being that just because Novas exist separately, some might say superior to baseline humanity, doesn't mean that they have any less responsibility for the safety and well-being thereof. So to prove that they are better, that they are the next phase of human evolution, the Novas of Nova Vigilance have taken to protecting baselines from Nova overindulgence or from just general harm. They feel somewhat of a sense of duty to look over those baselines. Now, whether that's because you feel baselines are valid and need protection, or that's because you adore them the way that someone might adore a pet, that's up to the individual Terrat. But all philosophies are equally present in Nova Vigilance. So as we build our characters, we'll find that. But before we do that, I would like to, if you don't mind, give you a little reading. And if you have picked up a copy of the novel Terrat by myself and Sarah Scharnweber, you will have already had a chance to read this material, but I'm going to go ahead and read it to our cast so that they can have it fresh in their mind as inspiration for their characters. This is the Null Manifesto, which was issued by a global broadcast on television, radio, and internet on October 31st of 2023. This statement formed the foundation of the Teragen and summarizes the core principles driving the movement. I address you today on behalf of Homo Novus. The miscarriage of justice contained within the Zurich Accord demands no less than the most thorough and passionate condemnation. Despite the assertion of weak men with only the power their self-serving political maneuvering affords them, Novas are not human. The one race is as far beyond the constraints and limitations of our evolutionary forebears as Homo sapiens sapiens are beyond Neanderthals. The Zurich Accord claims to establish equality between human and Nova. We vigorously contest that assertion in all its forms. The past 2 centuries are littered with examples of humans offering equal treatment as a preamble to monstrous abuse. Peoples of other nationalities, religions, and skin color. The simple desire to love someone who is not of the opposite gender. Further, for humans to declare Novas their equals is also to declare themselves the equals of the one race, which is demonstrably and objectively untrue. There is no way in which humanity are our equals. Equality is between people is not humanity's to offer, as humanity are not equal to Novas. Equality between our people is not ours to offer either. Elevating all of Homo sapiens sapiens to an equitable interaction with us along any reasonable axis is beyond even the one race. You are, after all, only human. Beyond ham-fisted attempts to assert the will of humanity onto their betters, the Zurich Accord claims legal and moral jurisdiction over the one race. This is preposterous in the extreme. To hold us to the mores of lesser beings is an infantile attempt to stunt our growth and interfere with every Nova's inherent right to self-realization. To attempt enforcement of your laws upon us, who exist beyond your understanding, is an act of ignorance and cruelty. The one race owes fealty to no flag of human design. We are each our own nation. To be Nova is to transcend the baselines from which we evolved. We want only to live in accord with the promptings of Terrace, the milestones of our ongoing evolution, which come from our true selves. Pursuing this end is not in and of itself revolutionary. It is rather the answer to a call, to transcendence emanating from the core of every Nova. Our very nature seems revolutionary to humanity only by virtue of our relative advancement. Yet, as humans didn't submit themselves to the judgment of a conference of lesser mammals in the wake of unlocking the secrets of the atom, we see no need to acquiesce to your claim of authority over Novas simply because we share a planet with you. We exist beyond human comprehension, and while we have yet to define our own laws, we must have the space and freedom necessary to chart our own course. Only those Novas who are too frightened, too lazy, or too comfortable to think for themselves, to judge and regulate their own behavior accordingly, would conform their own development to the authority of baseline law. True members of the one race sense their own laws within them. Things that are forbidden to a common baseline, to them, a common baseline will do any day of the year, and other things that are allowed to them that baselines generally despise. Each Nova must stand on their own, confer with their true self, and heed no commandment issued forth from elsewhere. I beseech all members of Homo Novus to follow the teachings of Terrace, a path that will take them to a better understanding of who they are. Acknowledging the eruption as but the first step along a path of ongoing evolution and committing oneself to that path requires courage. But the chick that fears the outside world dies in its egg. To be born, the one race must destroy its egg and in time fly. For this, the baselines hurl slander upon us. They call us aberrant and attempt to shackle us with their human limitations. We cannot claim surprise. Those few powerful individuals with courage and character have always seemed sinister to the rest. Anything that threatens the calm in which baselines live they call revolutionary. The desire to silence, persecute, and brainwash the Nova into a servant for human governments and human endeavor is but the latest iteration of humanity's long tradition of the corrupt and weak trying to climb to greatness on the corpses of their greatest. The difference, as this decree illustrates, is that the one race will not lie down for the whims of baselines, no matter what wealth, political clout, or resources they command. The Zurich Accord reeks of fear. Baselines have become nervous because they realize with the coming of the one race, the rules by which they have lived are no longer universally valid. Our arrival refuses to conform to the expectations humanity has established through the conventions of civilization, and that terrifies them. Those Novas they find palatable or desirable they seek to prop up as celebrities and role models, all while restraining and diminishing their chosen ones in the name of their self-proclaimed utopia. Those who refuse to fall in line, who dare to pursue betterment through the philosophy of Terrace, or those who baselines find disturbing in appearance or manner, are called aberrant. Ultimately, the labels they affix to us are of no concern. We cannot and will not apologize for a difference this fundamental. We must explore what it is to be a Nova, not for the betterment of the human race, but for the betterment of the Nova race. Perhaps there are some Novas who prefer to stay with the baseline herd for the warmth it provides. To these I say, obtain your warmth from equals. Humans do not require the companionship of monkeys, and likewise Novas do not require the companionship of baselines. We are destined to make a strange and terrible journey. We must make this journey together, in the company of our own kind. If you care for the well-being of baselines, you must see that they are simply not equipped to walk along your path. To attempt to drag them along with you into the crucible of our journey is a selfish act of harm, dooming your baseline companions to suffering and pain while impeding your own path toward evolution. While each Nova must walk their own path, we must gather and share our knowledge and our companionship. We are at the gates of a glorious new age, and we must take the first steps toward our destiny. To this, we need to be one. Realize that it is only Novas who can lead this journey. Homo sapiens sapiens had their time, and now is the age of the one race, an age that will usher in glorious transcendent understanding as we, the creators of the cultus nova, the new culture, explore our potential free of the yoke of human concerns. The path of Terrace is one of birth and rebirth, intertwined in a cycle of self-reflection and discovery. As with all birth, this cycle is not without suffering. Whosoever would be creator must first destroy, and in the age of the one race, a terrible god is loosed, preparing his grand creation. I am Divis Mal. Let these words stand as an affirmation of purpose, an invitation to my Nova siblings, and a warning to baselines. The Nova age has begun. We do not recognize your authority, and we reject the insulting declarations of the Zurich Accord, which we declare to be devoid of merit and wholly null. So something in those words reached out to you and made sense. Something in the philosophy surrounding that connected when you erupted, when you became a Nova, or at some time afterward. That is the foundation of the Teragen. Exciting stuff. Any questions?
No, I'm just processing a little.
Oh dear. Oh my.
I like that we're jerks. I'm here for this. People are pets. Let's go. I'm a bunny on the internet, and now everyone on the internet's a pet instead. There
Beautiful.
we go. It sounds good.
Oh,
All right. Well, with that, let's dive right in. We'll start with character creation. If you would all make sure that you have your character sheets up and going. I guess actually before we even get into the nuts and bolts of character creation, given the nature of what we're doing, let's talk a little bit about safety tools and expectations. So I tend to be I use the X card. You can say X, you can make an X with your hands, you can type X in the Zoom chat, which, full disclosure, that is literally the last place I will see it. Or you can just even put your hands up and say, I need a break. Anything at any time. If you need to stop, we stop. If there's any question as to what prompted that, I may ask a follow-up question, but beyond that, we stop, we excise whatever's the problem, we move on with our day. Having said that, I also like to touch base with what I like to call yes-goes and no-goes before we start. Yes-goes are things that you would like to see happen. No-goes are things that will not happen. For me personally, my standard no-go is SA. There's just no reason for it. It doesn't happen in the game, whether be it on camera or off camera. It's not a part of the story. My yes-go is gore. I am a gore hound. I tend to like things to be gory. When one of my favorite superhero pieces of media, for example, is Invincible. So if you've seen it, you have an idea of the level of gore that I'm talking about. So having said that, though, my yes goes do not trump anyone's no goes. So if somebody doesn't want to do gore, we can certainly set that aside. So let's go with Millie. What would be your yes goes and no goes?
Sure. I think for yes goes on me. I love a system and setting like this. I think has a lot of fun and interesting moral situations where we can get into situations that sort of challenge our ideals, as slightly dubious as those ideals may be. And I think that can be a lot of fun, where it gives us a chance to like cement our villainness or potentially go a little bit more haywire with it. So I'm into that. That excites me about these kind of superhero settings. And then I guess a no-go for me, and this will probably just be restricted to descriptions involving my character, would be needles and heart rate monitors.
Okay.
I spent too much time in hospital as a kid. I'm cool with gore, but not specifically needles. There's like that one scene from Fury Road I can't look at, and otherwise I love that movie. So
Gotcha. All right. So would it be safe to say, do you want to steer clear of any kind of medical horror?
I think medical horror is fine. I guess if it's going to involve me specifically, maybe check in on it beforehand,
Okay.
or just overall try to avoid it. It's mostly just the needles and blood stuff.
Okay.
Like other medical horror is like, all right, carry on. If I turn into like a four-headed cool goblin bean, like let's go, that sounds sick as heck. But if I have to have needles in me for that process, then I don't know, do it with a cool hypo spray instead.
That's fair. And if and someone else being like attached to machinery wouldn't does that?
Yeah, I think that should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I just want to make sure that I have a clear understanding of what to
Thank you for
avoid.
clarity.
No problem. That's what we're here for. And then let's go next over to Kelly. Yes goes, no goes.
I'm pretty open to most things. In this type of context, even my normal like things that I'd be kind of gray area on, because of the nature of what we're playing, I'm pretty positive on, because we're kind of jerks, right? The only thing that I would like as my yes go no go is this. There's this comic from. It's this panel that pops into my head from a DC Marvel crossover where like all the villains are getting together, and in it the Joker refuses to work with Red Skull. Because he's a bad guy, but that guy's a freaking Nazi, and I may be a supervillain, but I'm an American supervillain. And that's kind of my line right there. So like we can be assholes as long as we're not across that line. Like, because mutant supremacy or Nova supremacy and that are like pretty different, and that's the only thing that I want to be clear on.
That's fair, and and we will get into a little bit more of the politics of this as we create our characters. But the thing to remember is that the Teragen faction as a whole are pro Nova. The specifically Nova supremacist terrorist faction are the Aberrants, right? So the Aberrant, as a result of which, the Aberrants and Nova Vigilance do not get along as a general rule.
Nice.
Nova Vigilance was founded in part to respond to the behavior of the Aberrants, because somebody had to. It was kind of their thinking. And they figured
Nice.
better us than Project Utopia. So I do have no becoming the Nazis in our no-goes, though.
Cool.
Always.
Are we the baddies? Yes, but we're not Nazis.
I'm just
We're
running
like
through.
the regulation baddies. That sounds good.
I'm glad you brought up that Red Skull panel, though, because now I'm just running through like a clip show in my head of terrible things happening to Red Skull, and it's
It's
filling
so
me
good.
with joy.
He's such a douche.
There's that panel where Magneto like beats him to death with his bare hands. It's one of my.
I'm gonna look that up right now. While you're doing Bianca, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not even going to use powers. Don't worry, you'll die pure, and beats him to death with his bare hands.
Oh,
That's messed up.
Magneto's the best.
Magneto has zero fucks. I'm sorry. Was there a yes go in there that I missed?
Yeah, let's go.
Besides the beautiful, excellent.
Yeah, seriously, let's kick some ass.
Bianca,
Like seriously, Invincible was great. I mean, preferably if people are doing like grand scale violence and like helping people catch the train through Midtown, as that was, I'd prefer if they have a big mustache, but that's just my personal preference. Because Because goddamn J.K. Simmons in that role is god tier voice casting.
It's really good. I put
gosh.
I put one mustache in for the Eskos.
All right, one mustache.
I would like to second that. Dramatic mustaches are cool.
Excellent. Bianca, any yes goes or no goes?
So it's just when Millie mentioned like the moral dilemmas and such, it was just like immediately kind of what I wanted. Also, someone mentioned like magical girl in one of the emails. I was just like, that is something that I kind of want to go with for my character. And so it's just like the sacrifice and things like that. It's just like I want that. I want tough times. I want to put the characters through tough times.
Excellent.
But when it comes to no-goes, I think that, I probably will be okay with it if other characters or like any other players do it themselves. But personally, for me, I will not want to like harm like innocent animals and like children. That is something that I don't think that I'm going to enjoy having to do.
Okay, this brings up a beautiful point. So, because it was something that had not yet been brought up, so I definitely wanted to make the point to discuss it. Normally on our streams, we have a very like no kids, no pets policy in general. I don't intend to ever force any player character in any game ever into a situation where they would need to do harm to a child or a pet. But I did want to touch base and say, what are our thoughts on collateral damage, including animals, including children? Do we want to just keep that as sort of, we understand that when half the city explodes, there's probably some babies and puppies in there. Or is it something that, I guess, what level of on-screen peril are we comfortable with for non-player characters that fall within those realms?
For me personally, I think that it is kind of part of the like sad reality of the like setting that also kind of might play into some of the like hardships and like mental traumas of the characters. So personally, I'm fine with it. It's just that I would not really want to have to do an active thing and then have it like vividly told to me, where it's just like, no, I don't. So it really depends on how the scene is also depicted. Like if it is like, oh well, you know, this is a very tragic thing, rather than just like gore fest. Let's slaughter babies. It's just like,
for sure,
let's not.
And again, too, like even if we're like, if at a point in this discussion we're like, oh, this is fine, and then at a point in the scene we're like, that's not fine. We have the X card. We can always walk it back. But having said that, Kelly, your thoughts?
I find so long as we don't like. I'm fine either way. Probably better if we don't like see it. I feel like it's assumed that if a building blows up, there might be a kid in it. But if we don't see it, it didn't happen, right?
But we don't need to like zoom in on the kid with the
we don't need to zoom in on like the singed permission slip that says that they're at the zoo that day. You know, we don't need to see that, but you know, whatever works, whatever makes everybody happier.
That's fair.
And it's not fun to kill kids. There you go. You can clip that.
I think
it's not 2005 anymore.
I think we're all in agreement. It is not fun to kill children.
Yeah, I think so.
And Millie. Go ahead.
And no dogs. Dogs always live. That's my rule.
The dog always makes it. Excellent.
You'll
go far in Hollywood, kid. Millie, any additional thoughts to add, or any?
I think I feel similar on this one. I think like, you know, like gratuitous descriptions of injuries or harm to, you know, like a small little innocent being doesn't sound super fun to me, but I'm okay with like, you know, a nuke going off and it being like, well, there's probably small beings in that city, which could, you know, perhaps motivate us to do terrible things. We gotta get revenge for the small beings. What if there was a puppy? I don't know. I didn't see it. It was off camera. But now I'm motivated by this puppy, and I am going to go beat up someone. So
Right. Like, I know in my heart of hearts there was a puppy in
there
that
was a
building.
puppy. There were puppies in that building, and now I'm hitting you with the rest of it.
That is perfectly acceptable and sounds good to me. So, just to recap, for our yes goes, we have moral challenges where your ideals are questioned. One mustache, sacrifice, general magical girl themes, and tough times. You want some hard choices. You want some difficult situations. I think I can arrange. For no-goes, we've got no needles, heart rate monitors, medical equipment specifically regarding Millie's character. No becoming the Nazis. Usually doesn't, it goes without saying, but it's okay to say it. Always say it. Any chance?
I just wanted to say it in case some one random dude turned in and was like, "Oh, this is the stream for me."
Right. Yeah.
Let me just put this Punisher decal on my dually truck.
Tell me you've never read The Punisher without telling me you've never read The Punisher. And no forcing of doing harm to kids or pets, and we're going to keep kids and pets basically off screen. Yeah, I think this is a good mixture for a nice, fun story, and I think we have everything we need. So now, and again, these are always...
and no Tim. No Tim. We're not allowed to have Tim. That's fine.
Tim?
We
like
will
just
have
one
Tim's.
named Tim?
No Tims. We're allowed to have one.
We have one Tim.
Right,
we have
okay,
no more
of course,
Tims.
yes.
Yes.
It's like
very
no
good.
homers.
We've
It's like
reached
the No
our
Homers Club. You got it.
we've reached our limit of Tims.
Thank you so much for getting that joke, Melanie. This is why we're
Every
best
now and
friends.
again, I get a joke, and I'm like, oh my gosh, a cultural reference that I know.
Hey, I understood that reference.
Yeah, I'm always very proud. I feel like I just won 7 points here. I'm going to put this on my little calendar. Like today, I got a cultural reference. December 1st, 2022, 1:38 p.m. Let's go.
Why did you have to say that it was December? Oh.
I know.
Just to make you suffer. Just to make you suffer. Yeah.
Oh God, it is, isn't it?
It's been a long
Oh,
December, and
dear.
it's only 11 hours into it. Well, maybe more if you're on the other side of the planet. But
Atlantic time zone, gang.
But with that, I think we're ready to light this candle and get some characters created. So, do you all have your character sheets available?
Yes.
I think so.
Excellent. We will begin, as we always do when creating characters for Trinity Continuum, with our concept. You can decide what kind of character do you want to be. I've seen the term magical girl thrown around several times in emails, chats, in this discussion, in the Zoom chat. So please, Bianca, you seem to have perhaps a concept of what you're looking for in your magical girl. So elaborate on that.
Oh, I haven't really thought anything like super specific of it, but I just really wanted to play a bit of a classical magical girl, where it's just like in the beginning you're just kind of high on yourself, going like, "This is awesome," and then you just start to romanticize like normal life because this was not so awesome anymore. But things are still pink though. So
It sounds more Madoka Magica than Sailor Moon. I guess.
Oh, but Sailor Moon also had
Yeah,
that.
you're right though.
My partner and I just started watching this show on Amazon called Recreators. It's about all of these anime characters getting sucked into the real world, and it's got a magical girl who keeps doing these magical attacks that keep blowing up buildings, and she's getting like trauma from it. She's like, "Who keeps blowing up these buildings?" Because she can't process that it's her. It's so good.
I love it. It's like reverse isekai, basically, right?
It's pretty good. It's a meditation on the nature of storytelling. It's nice. Give it a try.
I like it. I will do. I am a fan of
I
storytelling.
have to check that out. Actually, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
If that were not obvious. So Bianca, we have basic concepts, sort of like this. So we want to join the journey of this magical girl at the wide-eyed sort of like amazement, right? So maybe someone who's been recently has recently erupted, recently come into their power, and maybe consider, as you're building your character, someone who has an actual literal transformation. That is possible within these rules. Kelly, I know that you had some ideas that you were throwing around.
Yeah.
Are you still on board for that?
I still want to be shithead Shazam.
Shithead Shazam.
I love it. Like
That's when we were doing the emails, and I'm like, Shazam's a magical girl. I'm gonna be a magical girl.
Shazam is a magical girl. That's true. And so, are you thinking like Shazam meets Superman Red Sun kind of vibe, or like?
I think that like my idea was that like I'm trying to find the right baseline type of character for him. So like the office worker, the disaffected burnout millennial who suddenly gets like not golden age. So yeah, like original golden age Superman powers, like no flight, but lots of jumps, lots of punches, and is just like as invincible as his ego allows.
Okay, I like it.
But hasn't mastered flight yet, but he can jump real far.
I did.
And he's kind of a walking erection is kind of the idea. That like real pathetic when he's not up, but when he's up, it's pretty impressive. You know?
Oh my gosh.
But when it goes away, it's
I
like
have an important
woo, woo,
question.
woo, woo. Yeah.
Do you tell people you can fly, even though you're just jumping really, really high all the time?
No, I think he tries to avoid the subject and gets real. Like, I think that's one of his easy hot buttons. If someone's like, well, yeah, but you know, even you know, Birdman can fly or whatever in this setting. I forget. Like even like some shitty like some like third list superhero, right? Well, like even Captain Condor can fly. His bird's in his name.
I love the idea of being mildly sensitive about the fact that you can't fly. I love it.
Oh yeah, this guy is like 30-year-old bro ego. Like so fragile.
I am here for it. All right. I think that is a solid concept. And then Millie, what are you thinking conceptually?
So I went into this without too much in the way of a solid concept, and one is starting to form a little bit. I'm feeling like if we've got a brand new magical girl, having a magical girl veteran makes a lot of sense. Like I can be like Mammy Styles from Madoka Magica and sort of be like bitter and gruff about this. Maybe I'm a Nova that's been out for a little bit longer than the new folks. And I'm like, yeah, it's wonderful and amazing. Just please don't look behind the curtain. But I live behind that curtain and everything sucks back here. I feel like maybe because we were talking about like, not wanting to do harm to like, animals and small innocents, maybe that's going to be like a strong motivation thing for the character. I like the idea of being like someone who's doing this for like environmental and safety reasons and thinks that they're very much on the right side because humanity's done so much harm, but has now gone wildly off the rails and has no idea where to go from here and is hopeful that this newbie can hopefully come up with a good approach because her attempt totally failed and everything's awful. But she's got a big smiling face about it.
I love it. I think that's a good solid starting point, and I think that there are some cool hooks as we build the character that we can hang on that you might enjoy.
I'm not really sure on which kind of powers. I don't like the idea necessarily of having a gun. I don't feel that feels like as super fun superhero-y as other stuff. But I do like the idea of there being like a silly transformation involved and stuff like that. So I ponder the powers a little bit as we come into them.
The transformation stuff is absolutely achievable, and I think you'll dig what we have for options there. But before we can dive into that, first we can get into aspirations. Aspirations are what make you go. And I think we've talked a little bit about what some of those might be. As you're creating your character, you want to select 2 short-term aspirations, which are things that can be accomplished within the span of a single session. They can be as complicated as save a child from peril, for example. It's kind of complicated, a little specific. It can be as simple as throw a punch, use my power. It doesn't have to, I don't want you to break your brain trying to come up with a short-term aspiration. We just need 2 of those. And then we need one that's a long-term aspiration, which is more kind of like where you would like your arc to go over the course of the next several episodes. So what's something that you would like to do over the course of a story?
I have a quick question on these aspirations. Are these our aspirations as the players for the characters, or are they aspirations from the character's perspective?
They can be either. They can be both.
Okay.
You may wish to, if you're employing both, you might want to note for your own notes as you're writing down your aspirations. Like, this is a player aspiration, this is a character aspiration.
Okay.
If you feel the need to, but yeah, they can be either, and you can have both in play at the same time. Kelly, I saw you stop typing already. Does that mean you've got your aspirations?
I've got mine. They were super easy, barely an inconvenience. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, please. What do you got?
Yeah.
All right, my short terms are be physically impressive and be emotionally weak.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
I have a fruit fly in this room and it's strafing me and I hate it.
I'm
And
sorry.
then my long term is to figure out whether he's a hero or a villain.
Nice. I love it. Isn't that the question? Isn't that the central question for us all? Bianca, did you come up with some aspirations? You still cooking on them?
I'm thinking at least long term, definitely, since it is like the character's introduction into this kind of being a part of this whole new big thing. It's kind of finding like where they sit on the whole, like what their general thoughts on it is, and where they find themselves in that big picture.
So in terms of the Teragen, or in terms of the Nova community in general, or in terms of Nova Vigilance specifically?
I think perhaps just like Nova generally. Because right now everything is so new, it's so sparkly, it's very exciting, and then it's like, yeah, of course we're better. What do you mean?
Of course we are. Of
We're
course we
better.
are.
Sure.
And so it's just like, yeah, no, totally. It's like they're helpless. That's why we're helping them. But that's also why we need to, like, kind of have, like, govern ourselves and stuff. But at the same time, it's like, what are these scary things? And why is there so much, like, darkness in this?
So would you say then?
So governing ourselves means we have to govern ourselves. That's the worst.
So would you say then, maybe for long term, that would be like confronting the question of your place within Nova Society, or would it be more like confronting the question of your perceptions of Nova's place in world society?
Yeah, I think the latter.
All right. So for long term, we got questioning the Nova's place in the world society. Any short term ideas?
Oh, short term, it really depends on like
We can circle back
powers as such.
to short term too, so that's totally fine. Millie, what do you got for aspirations? Any thoughts?
So I have two short-term ones. One's character, one's player. So the character one would be to keep Bianca's character safe and to show her only the good parts.
Excellent.
And a player's motivation would be for my character to fail, to lose a fight, and to be forced into showing the cracks. And then long-term for her to find a future worth fighting for.
Beautiful. I love all those aspirations. They are
Well, I love all your faces.
great. Well, thank you. That's very kind.
Wait.
Next up, we have our selection of paths. You will choose an origin path, which is your background, where you're from. A role path, which is the role that you fill within the group. And a society path, which for you all will be Teragen from Aberrant. So the origin role paths are located in the Trinity Continuum core book. And those start on page 41. There are a few additional paths in Aberrant itself. which you can find. This book has
Page
an index.
41.
Thank you.
No worries. I have the actual book in front of me because my Adobe Reader's being super slow. Okay, question.
Yes.
Should I be a street rat or a suburbanite? Like, what makes a better shitheel? Probably a suburbanite, right?
Probably a suburbanite, yeah, I would say.
Okay. All right.
I would also like to, so the main choices that you need to make are going to be role and path. Role and origin. Your path is going to be Teragen. So we'll get into what that means in a minute. And I also want you all to, there's another choice that you're all going to have to make between, you will all record because I'm giving you 2 extra path dots at character creation. So you may record that you have 1 dot in the Nova Vigilance path for being a part of that team. And that would go, so if you go into like your connections, you should have places to put the actual path dots on your sheet. Would probably be the best place to put them. And you will all need to choose what is called a doctrine path, which is what aspect of Terrace you most relate to, how you see yourself, your ideal Nova self, your ideal goal. And there are 3 options for your doctrine path. The Marvel, which is summarized as be the God you are meant to be. The simple commandment is difficult to actualize for multiple reasons, but it is the cornerstone of the principles of Terrace. The Monster. Monsters are those who have rejected their humanity and revel in their titanic natures. Unlike Marvel's, monsters see themselves not as gods to be worshipped, but as creatures to be feared and appeased. Or Portent, which is the doctrine about how guiding others and seeking the future of Novas is most important. Being a visionary is your goal. Being someone who is spearheading a new future would be the Portent path.
Nice.
Do any of those speak to
Marvel?
I figured as much. So go ahead and note that you have a dot in the Marvel path. Bianca, any of the doctrine paths reach out to you?
I'm sort of leaning on Marvel or the last one, Portent. But
I'm sort of debating those 2 as well. Well, and maybe a little bit Monster because that one could be fun. I don't know if it's quite the right vibe, but it's like a little bit the right vibe.
it's the edge.
I think, yeah. I feel
Don't
like
cut yourself.
might make the most sense. But I also could see it working really well for Bianca's character if you're sort of like leading the path. I mean, maybe it's still the right path for both of us potentially. But from this so far, I feel like my character will see yours as the future.
I feel like it might. I mean, it's one of the things that the character will probably go in, and that's the direction that I want him to go in, where it is like this whole thing of like moral questioning and introspectives and having like a bit of a development journey. And so that's why I'm leaning towards very much Portent, even though in the beginning it might not really be their intention to.
Right. Portent is very, very much more geared toward introspection. Whereas Marvel is geared toward being that big, bright, shining symbol of it means hope, Lois.
It's an S. It's an S.
It means soap. Don't
It means soap, Lois. One hand washes the other, if you get my meaning.
Whereas the monster path would be something more along the lines of like a anything from like a sort of, I guess in comics terms, like a clay face. Someone who not only is possibly physically monstrous, but who just revels in that idea of monstrosity.
I love that Batman is each one of them. So like pick a version of Batman, and he is each one of those right there.
That's valid.
Monster would be definitely like, yeah. Oh God,
Apocalypse,
or the
Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
Things along those lines.
Homelander obviously is Marvel and Monster to the T.
Yeah, I mean, Homelander's a monster that does a very, very good job of pretending he's Marvel in public, and less so as the show goes on.
I think he's got like a point of it, because I think he feels like he is at the core, and that just erodes. But fair.
Yeah, once you've got those paths selected, record them, and I'll tell you what you get from them. And then, go ahead. You had a
I
question?
feel like
What is it?
maybe important, but I guess for the points on this, are we putting this under path contacts? Is there another spot?
Yeah, you can record them under path
Okay.
contacts, because you don't have enough lines under your paths up top.
Sounds good. So
I think there might be a space on additional paths on the top of your sheet that you can also record. Just list the name of your paths, but you definitely want to have the dots in the path contacts. And your quick question?
My quick question is for role stuff. So role is inside of our team, right?
Yes, inside of your team, and I guess to a greater degree, you could also look at it as inside of the Cultus Nova in general, the Nova culture.
So what's everybody thinking? Because I don't want to step on toes or pick because I guess if we all triple up, I guess that would still work.
Yeah, the paths do offer enough diversity in them that there should be no concern with there being overlap.
Okay.
So don't worry about I have
All
to.
right.
We can't have 3 Marvels running around.
Everybody's going to combat
I
specialist.
could probably switch to monster. I mean, that could work if it's a character who very much sees herself as a monster, but I don't think she wants to be, and I feel like that's, that's a distinction.
Right.
Millie, I'm talking about role paths. That's the next thing we're doing.
Oh, the next right. Oh my gosh, right. Carry
So
on.
it's after your origin. So it's like who you are on the team, and it's like charismatic leader, combat specialist, detective, medic, pilot, sneak, or
Right.
tech.
And there are 4 new role paths in Aberrant on page 99, which are the athlete,
Okay.
the celebrity, the consultant, and the corporate.
Oh God,
I
corporate,
feel like
obviously.
I should choose an origin path first, probably.
Sure.
Because you did Suburbia, right,
Mm-hmm.
Kelly? Okay.
Should he be a burnout or something like a lawyer, or like a legal assistant, or like just a corporate drone?
The more you're talking about this character, the more I keep seeing either like a cross between Edward Norton's character in Fight Club and
Oh my God, more Edward Norton's a magical girl. He literally is. He turns into Brad Pitt. There we go. My name's Captain Fight Club.
Oh dear.
Okay, corporate it is. Let's go.
I was also gonna say to reinforce the point, the protagonist in Wanted.
That is what I keep thinking of. That is what
Yeah.
the moment where he cranks Chris Pratt with the keyboard. And by the way, for those who forget, that is Chris Pratt getting his teeth knocked out with a keyboard with the key spell "fuck you," and you need to go rewatch that scene because it's not a great movie unless you're playing a Euthanatos. Then it's a great movie.
Oh yeah.
That was one of my required viewings for playing Euthanatoy in my tabletop games. You had to go watch Wanted.
It is, by the metric of comic book accuracy, it is probably the worst adaptation of a comic book ever made. However, it is the greatest improvement to a comic story ever made, if that makes sense.
You know what? I gotta argue anything that Garth Ennis has touched has been remade into something way better.
Oh, Wanted was not Garth Ennis. Wanted was
No, I know, but he was Mark Miller, right? Was it?
Yeah, Mark
Miller
Millar.
was.
Yeah.
Mark Millar, yeah. Mark Miller and Garth Ennis, just like their stuff gets so much better when a second party gets a hold of it, and they're like, maybe we take out the homophobia. You know? And it's like, oh, this is actually a meditation on power, not about how you hate superheroes because you can't draw them.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. All of those things are truth facts.
These are my opinions, not Onyx Path's. Come at me.
Yeah, same.
Legally distinct.
None of these
Legally
are the
distinct.
opinions of Onyx Path Publishing, and are the opinions of only the faces that you see on these screens. So thoughts on, did you settle on an origin path then, Millie?
I was debating sort of maybe going life of privilege.
Nice.
And then maybe even for a role path, taking consultant.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I say that sounds solid to me. And also could explain sort of the prior rise. It's easier to look at the world through rose-colored glasses when you were born with rose-colored glasses on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and that does not necessarily mean that they can't shatter and can't have shattered by the time that this game, or at least cracked a little bit by the time the game starts. How about you, Bianca? Thoughts on origin and role path?
Yeah, I was leaning on suburbia mostly,
Okay.
but also kind of life of privilege. But I think it was just like, for the character, it would mostly just be like having a very safe normal before, and that is where they start to romanticize those aspects on later, where it's just like, yeah, the world felt a lot more safe when it was simpler.
That can be either one of those things. It sounds a little more suburbia to me because life of privilege indicates that you not only had a safe, but you had a privileged upbringing.
Yeah.
But having said that, though, whatever you feel more comfortable with is fine. Had you decided on a role then? Are you still working on that one?
I'm kind of still working on that one.
Totally fine. While you're going through that, each of your paths will give you certain elements. If you look at Trinity Continuum core rulebook, you get back to, you'll have 4 skills listed from the path. Of those 4 skills, you have 3 dots to distribute. Does that make sense?
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. So we can basically pick. Could we, for example, put 3 into 1?
You absolutely can. Yeah, you can spend those 3
Okay.
dots
I don't know if I need any integrity, but
among
still.
your path skills. However you choose.
Integrity is good for suffering. It gets your suffering resistance.
Yeah, I think so too.
And
Okay.
I'm just
Also-
reading through what the skills do.
yeah, also comes in handy with kind of noticing things and things along those lines.
Millie, since you've never played the system before, the thing you're going to like the most is that it's inverted. Like, you notice that skills are on top?
Yeah, I think that's really nice.
It
Yes.
means
And
that you can,
I love how there's it seems like there's so much more specificity in attributes as well.
and the attributes are secondary. So, like, you can win a fight with, close combat and intelligence.
Right, your skill, it is a skill forward system. So you determine what skill. Usually, you'll say, "I want to do a thing." I'll tell you what skill is probably most pertinent to it. But if you have a better suggestion, we can always go with that. And then you will determine which attribute you're using to sort of describe your approach. So, for example, an intelligence close combat thing might be, well, I'm going to look over the way this person is standing, see maybe they got a bad knee, and strike there. So, as an example, you know, a lot of times it could be like a cunning in close combat. Like, I'm just going to flail around wildly and hopefully outsmart this person, kind of
The
thing.
cunning flail.
Things along those lines. So there's a couple different approaches you can take to it. But since some of you have paths that are not listed in the book, I'm going to go ahead and give you the skills that you may. You can put a little X on your sheet next to these to know that they're part of it. I will also copy them into the Zoom chat. But for being a member of Nova Vigilance, your skills are athletics, close combat, integrity, and larceny.
Makes sense.
What was
And
it? It was integrity, close combat, athletics, and what?
larceny.
Larceny.
The edges that you can choose, I'm also pasting into the Zoom chat, but you can take any one style edge, fame, U-fiber, always prepared, or endurance. And there are some additional edges that you can take as being part of Nova Vigilance as well. And I'll just toss those in the chat. And if you have questions about them, feel free to ask.
Okay.
Okay. So the edges that we get for the roles, they're options that we can take, the sort of like merits we have access to, but we don't automatically choose one.
Correct. So what happens is once you've got all your skills for all your paths picked, then you buy edges and you get 2 dots in edges for every dot in a path you have.
Okay, cool.
So I also have just tossed in that first edge that I pasted that the name didn't go through is called Malleable Self. Might be handy for people looking into transformations. It does have a prerequisite of the alternate identity edge at level 2. And there's also an informants edge that you can take. Basically meaning that you have a network of spies that work at your behest.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
So, popping that in there. And then, sorry, just trying to juggle a thing or three.
Totally. Persuasion.
And then your, lastly, you will have some skills that come from your doctrine path. You'll get some benefits as well.
Okay.
So, those of you on the Marvel path, your skills are command, culture, empathy, and persuasion. And the edges available to you are Advanced Chrysalis, Fame, Followers, Iron Will, and Swift. And those of you who are familiar with Aberrant will recognize that Advanced Chrysalis is a new edge.
Ooh.
Chrysalis itself is sort of core to the identity of being a Terat. It is a process by which Novas internalize their own quantum flux and shape it to the will that they wish it to be. It's sort of self-directed evolution. Make sense?
Totally.
Excellent.
Two of culture, identity.
And for the, so we had, everybody else was Portent, right?
I think so, yeah.
For Portent, your skills that you gain from that are culture, enigmas, humanities, and integrity.
Enigmas, identities, and integrity.
And your edges available are Advanced Chrysalis, Danger Sense, Followers, Always Prepared, Lightning Calculator, and Photographic Memory. And I do feel compelled once again to remind the audience at home that this is all pre-development. All these things may shift before Hated and Feared drops, but this is what we're running with for the moment. So
sounds good. And then so we still get to pick 2 for each role, including that one, right?
Correct. So you will have, if you have
more integrity and enigmas.
yes,
Is it 2 for each roll or is it 3 for each roll?
It's 3 skills for each role or for each path, and it's 2 edges for each path.
Right, I definitely picked two.
Now, does that-
last two rolls?
So how many skill points total are we going to have on this sheet?
So you should have, because you have two additional, you're starting off with two additional paths. You should have 3, 6, 9, 12,
15?
15.
Okay. Well, in that case,
Wow.
very commanding. Okay, so 3, 6, 9, damp, fine. Holy shit, he's persuasive.
So we get 12 from the paths and 3 that we choose for
No,
other
it should
ones,
be
or
15 from your paths, because you have 5 paths.
15
Each
from
one
the
gets-
paths,
Each one
okay.
gets 3 dots in skills. Yep. And then you'd be
Gosh,
looking.
right, it's 5 paths.
And then you would be looking at 10 dots between the edges that are available in those paths. But you want to make sure that you're only spending those out of the paths. If you have path overlap, you can buy dots from multiple.
I'm trying to mark all the paths on the sheet.
Sure.
This is the many a thing.
So,
This is good.
You
Advanced chrysalis.
And I know we're juggling a lot of information, so feel free to ask questions as you need to.
Integrity, persuasion.
How are your skill purchases coming along, Bianca?
It's somewhat coming along. I'm thinking very much of having integrity sounds very important to this one. Yes. But so does empathy. Empathy is also very important for a
No,
short
it's not important
girl. Not maxed empathy.
You guys have bought empathy?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get like 1 dot in it probably. We'll see. Might have a little bit. Okay. So and then if we go to consultant, persuasion, and then I'm gonna go for
Skilled liar. There we go. Boop, boop. Okay. Mostly to myself.
Each of your paths will also provide you with a contact. And if you look at page 40 of Trinity Continuum Core, it will tell you the tags that you can select for each contact. If you want to work out the specific personage, you can. There are some sample connections in each one. In each of the paths, there's some sample connections, which would be what your contact ultimately boils down to. I'm also totally fine with just you picking a tag for each of those, and we find out who they are through the course of gameplay. Either one is fine by me. So if you're like, I really want my, suburban connection to be a neighborhood friend, and I have an idea for that, you can write that down and write the tag that applies. But if you're like, I don't know, I just want them to be influential, that's fine too. Make sense?
all right. I think I found one spot where I got confused.
Sure.
So I have paths for Life of Privilege.
Yes.
So I guess I've got Origin, Role, Society, and the Doctrine path. What's the 5th path that I'm missing here?
Oh, you should have the Nova Vigilance path.
Oh, so I have Teragen and then Nova Vigilant are separate?
Yep, that is correct.
Okay, I had them as one. That's where.
So,
that's
yeah,
where I got results.
The Teragen path itself is listed in Aberrant on page. This is in alphabetical order, right?
Okay, so then on my sheet, I put everything as T for Teragen. Let's put that as N for Nova Vigilant for what you put in the chat before.
Yep. And the Teragen path is found on page 134.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
You are welcome.
I think in my mind, I was like, it's like a subclass. All right, so it's Command, Culture, Integrity, and Persuasion. Nice combination.
One thing to just keep in mind, if you want to go into the advanced chrysalis, meaning that you've undergone chrysalis a little bit, you have some understanding of it. We will need just make a note somewhere that we'll need to make sure that before your character is done, that you have at least a transcendence of 4.
Oh, don't worry about that. I mean, do worry about that, obviously.
I'm pretty worried about that.
Does U-Fiber, is a 1 to 5, right?
U-Fiber runs 1 to 5, correct.
Okay, boop, boop.
So
And you only
the
need
only one
like,
I have with close combat
Fiber.
energy is Nova Vigilance.
does Nova Vigilance have close combat?
Yes, no vigilance
Yeah.
is.
Oh, I
it's
read.
athletics, close combat, integrity, larceny.
Oh, yeah. Wait, did I do the right skills? Okay,
6,
so
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do still have 3 more. Okay, brilliant.
Yep, should be a total of 15 dots when it's all said and done.
1, 2, 3,
Well,
4,
I have
5, 6,
nothing
7,
that
8,
gives me any
9.
empathy, so this feels great.
Oh dear.
I don't
Oh
know. I have no way
my.
of telling.
Oh no. Oh dear. Oh my. Travis.
Yes.
Not related, even though I do sound distressed. Where on the character sheet should I put like connections?
I believe it's on the second page of that sheet. There should be a contacts or connections.
No, there's not.
I don't see one.
Not the one from Drive Thru RPG anyway.
I have it on the Aberrant one here, yeah. It's
Do
under
you?
path contacts.
Path
Or was it
contacts.
connections are different than contacts, or is it path contacts?
It's path contacts would be, I guess, what it's called.
Yeah.
Let me
Okay.
let me open
Oh, okay.
the sheet so I'm looking at the same thing.
And then at the other.
Were you able to locate that?
Okay.
Yes, I can see the path contact, so that's where I'll put my ambiguous childhood friend.
Beautiful.
Ambiguous childhood friends.
Ambiguous child.
Are they alive? Did they die horribly?
Well,
They
if
are
they're still a
early and then you-
alive.
if they're still a
But they
contact,
might
they're
die.
probably alive. Yeah.
Did they die horribly and then you brought them back with magic into the form of a cat?
I would not object if that was what happened. Or will happen later on.
And if you run out of room on your path contacts, you can always drop some of those extra. If you want to write down in your specialties and skill tricks lines, that's probably a good place for them, at least for the moment. Then we can rearrange your sheet as needed when it's all nice and done and pretty.
Nice. And I might be jumping the gun here, but are we getting any additional points to spend in skills or edges later?
You will when we add the Nova template.
Cool.
You'll have ample points to spend.
Okay, sounds
Nice.
good.
Because I'm going to go with dormancy as my way of transforming, just because it's fast and easy.
Dormancy is the fast, easy way. So if you look in the Aberrant book, for those of you who are looking at having actual, like I transform as part of your shtick, as it were,
Yes.
you'll notice there are some edges that are listed in there, and they start. Come here, you beautiful, beautiful index you. On page 95, I do believe.
Cool.
Yes, and that includes your dormancy. That also includes the description of U-fiber, of chrysalis, all that fun stuff.
Nice. Oh, yeah. So I'm pretty much done with the core book.
Government connections.
Then
All right. So I'm now only on to edges.
You're fine. No worries.
Figuring out stuff with the system slowly but surely. So we had 2 points for edge per path, right?
Yes, in edges, yes. I would recommend everyone at least take a dot of chrysalis. And you probably, if you want to actually transform into a different form, that is 2 dots of dormancy.
Okay.
okay. But that'll be bought with later points, right?
It can be, absolutely.
Okay.
I
'Cause I don't
also
think we get access to those from these paths yet, or do we get it from the? Oh no, because we have it from the.
the Teragen path will give you
From the
both.
Oh, is it part of the
Teragen
Teragen path? Dormancy?
Chrysalis is, and I believe Dormancy is.
Okay. Dormancy. I didn't see it on anything that we had, actually. That's why I was asking about future points.
Let's see. Dormancy might be out of path for them, which is fine. Like I said, you will have points to buy.
And it looks like Chrysalis is only a 1 point?
Chrysalis itself is 1 point. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And then because I like you all, and because it's in the rules, you have 6 dots that you can spend wherever you want in skills.
Yay!
Okay. No, not. Just figuring out. Okay. Skilled liar sounds like a nice edge.
It is a nice edge. It will come in handy.
No, big-hearted, not that one.
I know,
What?
right?
I was gonna pick Big Hearted.
You probably should. I am not. maybe I will learn it. Maybe I will learn it.
Maybe one day your heart will grow 3 sizes.
You should seek a doctor immediately if that happens.
Yes, that is accurate.
Okay. I don't need that much aim. He should be a bad aim.
And the other thing that you'll need to select in all your skills, as you look at the skill descriptions in the Trinity Core book, you see a list of skill tricks that are basically a bolded entry that has a paragraph after it. You get to choose one skill trick at character creation. It has to be in a skill that you have 3 dots or more in. And skill tricks are just nifty little fun things you can do. One of my favorites to show off is Gun Tool. It's an aim skill trick that lets you substitute your aim for another skill when you're
Cute.
doing anything. Like, I need to pick this lock. I'm going to use my aim for larceny and shoot the lock. Is one way that it can work.
Nice.
But it can also work just as well for intimidation. I'm just going to wave this gun around and add my aim to it. For example. Doesn't necessarily have to be a gun either. For example, if you take the quantum bolt power, or quantum attack power, let's use the right edition, and it's a ranged attack, your aim could apply with that too.
Nice.
Oh my gosh,
All right.
it's been very slow for me today. Can I ask you if anyone knows what page on the Aberrant book the edges are?
Yes, the edges are on, I believe, page 95 is where they begin. Yes.
Hey, for some reason it was like Chrysalis, that's clearly on page 276 and nothing before then. And I'm like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, that is not accurate. And then once we have all of our skills in order, we will move along to attributes.
And when do you get specialties, Travis? Remind me again.
So you can you gain a specialty when you can purchase a specialty, I should say.
Okay. You don't start with them. Cool.
When you get a skill at 3 and then above, each time it goes up, you can get one.
Okay, cool. Anybody object to me taking Inspiring Example as a command skill trick?
No, go for it.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Cool.
Yeah, you can purchase specialties. You do not automatically get them.
Okay, cool. All right. So how do we do attributes?
Let's see.
Attributes, you will notice that you have little boxes on your character sheet that surround groups of 3 attributes. Well, in this case, 6 because you have mega attributes as well. You have the intellect, cunning, resolve, might, dexterity, stamina, presence, manipulation, composure. Those are your arenas. So you will choose which of those arenas is most important to your character, and you may spend 6 points in that arena.
Okay.
The free point that's already filled out in the dots doesn't count, and you're not buying mega anything yet.
So we, I just figure out, because So dormancy is not available through any of the path edges. We'd have to purchase that later, right?
We're gonna have a lot of points though.
That is correct, but you will have
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
points.
totally. I'm just trying to do it all in order instead
Yep.
of
No, that's
marking
fine.
down exactly what I would do
Yeah, you will
beforehand.
have to purchase dormants later.
Okay, brilliant.
So Millie, when we get, don't stress. I forgot about this because I haven't played Aberrant in about a year now. But when we add the Aberrant template, your eyes are going to roll back in your head from the number of points we get. Like it's just like
I'm excited for that.
it's ridiculous. Like it feels like it when you become an Aberrant, or when like the feeling that players get is like being a storyteller that's trying to design a party kill NPC. Like it's just like, fine, you know what? He's got level 6 and everything because screw you guys. You didn't come to my birthday party. So
That is one way you can build your character, absolutely.
but that's what it feels like. It's like, oh my God, what?
Exactly.
After years of playing World of Darkness games, it just is like, oh shit.
So for the attributes, you get your primary arena gets 6 dots to spend, your secondary arena gets 4 dots to spend, and your tertiary arena, the least important to you, gets 2 dots to spend.
Give me a quick pitch on the different arenas.
So the intellect, cunning, and resolve is your mental arena. Might, dexterity, stamina is your physical arena, and presence, manipulation, composure is your social arena.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm still back here on paths.
So if you want to lean
643?
642.
Oh, sorry, 642, yeah.
Teragen, so then I gotta do the Nova edges.
Once you have those selected, you will then get to choose. You'll see on the sheet force, finesse, and resilience. Those are your approaches. Those are little lines that go across. You choose which of those you favor. You put a little check mark in the box next to it, and you add 1 dot to each of the attributes in that approach. If that causes one of them to go above 5, you would then move that dot into another dot in that arena. So, for example, let's say you already had Might 5 and you chose Force as your favorite approach. You would have to spend the bonus dot you get in either Dexterity or Stamina. Make sense?
I think so.
Right. Any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns so far?
Nope. I'm good.
I'm sure I'm gonna have very, very many soon, but not yet.
Did you? So you had selected on your, had settled on your skill trick, correct, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Inspiring Example, I think it's called.
Excellent. Any? Did you get your skill points spent, Bianca?
Tile edge.
I think so.
So you
it
should-
was 15 total, right?
15 total, and then you get 6 that you can spend wherever you want. So you should have a total of 21 skill points right now.
Oh dear. Okay, so 21. 31. Okay, so it was plus 6 there. Ooh, empathy. I have too much empathy. As an empath, I could tell by the fact that, by your laugh, that you are enjoying yourself. I am such an empath. My God.
One of my favorite skill tricks, by the way, under empathy is, rumor has it, a character with this trick knows exactly how to push someone's buttons and what it takes to drive a wedge between friends. Spend 1 momentum to increase a
that's
character's
fun.
negative attitude or reduce their positive attitude by 1 toward another character for the remainder of the scene. So you can like make people mad at each other with that skill trick. It's funny.
Oh, shit. So good. Oh.
And
All right.
Millie, had you gotten your skill points spent? You should have a total of 21 right now.
I think at the moment, I think I am at the 15 from paths, and I'm moving on to the next one after that. I just got my edges in from paths.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So you have 6
So I'm
points.
going all over the place because I've never made a
No,
character in the
you're
system
totally
before.
fine. You're totally fine.
We're totally fine. So I have 6 points to do whatever I want in, right?
For skills, yes.
And I should have a total of
21.
I guess 10 points in edges right now,
Oh,
right?
10 in edges, yep, and 21 in skills.
Oh, dang it, I'm missing 2 edges. I think I might be missing the... Oh, I think I'm missing the Novalis edges, which is Advanced Chrysalis, Fame, Followers, Iron Will, Swift. Or this is the important ones I'm missing. No, it's important ones I'm missing. Never mind. Ooh, Danger Sense sounds good.
Danger sense is always handy.
Let's grab one of them. And then perchance...
Always prepared
Always
is
followers.
always nice to have.
I have always prepared taken already.
Followers is also good to have.
Followers. Is that in the core book or is it?
Followers is
Aberrant?
in Aberrant.
Let's go for followers.
That's on page 97.
I think I just found it.
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Each dot you take in followers, you get a tag to apply to your followers. So you can, for example, have followers who have access to a certain thing. So like, oh, my followers happen to be part of the police department. So I get information on, it's a nice way to build a cult.
I do like having a cult. So brackets, pets. Let's see. What kind of pets
Oh,
do
very
I?
Teragen of you.
Don't worry about it. They don't know they're pets. You don't call them that to their face. They'll never figure it out.
Excellent. And I just want to do a quick check-in with everybody. Normally we do our biological and technological break at the halfway point. We're pretty close to being wrapped up with the baseline character creation. So do you want to try to push through and finish that before we take our break, or do you want to take our break now? It's up to you.
I can finish my baseline personally, but
To be honest, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no to a break. I had a massive cup of coffee right before we sat down here, so
right.
a couple of minutes is not something I'll complain about.
Excellent. Let's shoot for 5 to 10 for biological, technological. If you're watching live in the chat, hang out. We'll be back. I'll probably step away momentarily and then be back to answer any questions people might have in the chat during the break. Otherwise, if you're watching this on VOD, just fast forward until you see our beautiful faces again.
Sounds good.
We will be back live momentarily. Ah ha ha ha! There we go. Now we should be live. I apologize.
We were cleverly disguised.
There was a ID10T error between my computer and my keyboard.
Okay. Yeah.
But we are back. We are live. We are buttoning up the baseline character creation. So I believe we had Bianca. You were working on those attributes. Where are we at on those at this point? I believe we had.
I think I'm done with the attributes.
Bianca, you were working on those attributes. Where are we at on those? And Millie, did you get yours done as well?
Yeah, I think
I'm doing attributes right now.
Beautiful. Feel free to.
It's 642, right?
642, and then you choose the favorite approach, and that will help fill those up. And I do want to just remind everyone again, there is a link. I'll post it again in the chat. I posted it during the downtime, but we do have several of the Trinity Continuum PDFs. Most of the current edition of Trinity Continuum is 90% off in PDF over Drive-Thru RPG. So if you're watching this and you're checking it out, you've never played Trinity, you've never played Aberrant, now is a perfect time to go snatch those up. Trinity Continuum Core Book is $1.50 in PDF, and Aberrant's like $2. So by all means, snatch those up and get those deals while they are hot. All right. Attributes once attributes are done, favorite approach is done. You have all selected your skill tricks. That completes the baseline character creation, and we get to move over to Aberrant.
See you later, Trinity.
All right. I think we're done. Baseline character creation.
We will
Set it up going mostly into the presence manipulation composer side, with some into physicals, and then not an awful lot into the side on the left there with the intellect cutting and resolve. So I don't have much of the intellect spot there, but I think that's all right. I was probably homeschooled.
That's quite all right.
Fancy.
Your world is about to open up in a broad and amazing way. As we apply the Nova template to your character. So you will head over to page 87 in Trinity Continuum Aberrant.
My favorite page. I don't know. It might be.
You each will gain a quantum trait rating of 1. So under quantum, fill in the first dot. You are a part of the Nova tier, which means when you make your dice rolls, they will be at a target number of 7 rather than the standard of 8 in Trinity Continuum.
Okay.
You may add 1 dot in any one attribute of your favorite approach.
Mm-hmm.
And you gain either 1 dot of the fame edge or 1 dot of the alternate identity edge. Relative obscurity is not an option for Novas.
So on a scale of like fame 1 to 5, what's a 3? Like 1 is like people know
Fame
of
only
you.
fame only goes to 3.
Oh, balls.
Yeah, so
Is it followers that goes to 5?
followers goes to 5, yes.
Okay, so I will switch that around then. So I have followers 3, fame 2.
What was the other one?
Alternate identity is the other edge you can take.
Oh, I guess that is just your ordinary.
That is, I'm Clark Kent. I'm Superman.
Yeah.
Clark Kent.
Do you need that
I'm
if you
gonna
do
go for
take
that one,
dormancy
too.
later?
You don't need it if you
Yeah.
take dormancy. If you don't take alternate identity and you take dormancy, your dormed down form is generally considered to be publicly known. So kind of, if you would if you'll permit me a MCU comparison, Bruce Banner has dormancy but does not have alternate identity.
Okay, cool. Then alternate identity it is.
Yeah.
Nice, good to know. That's a really good example.
Yeah, thank you. I try. And then you get 150 experience points, which you may spend to improve your traits, per the chart on page 89.
Ooh. Okay.
89.
So, time to do a lot of...
89.
Oh,
Goodness.
math.
Now,
My mortal enemy.
this is where some things can get pretty fun. You can also
Characters,
purchase
mega
your...
attributes, mega edges, quantum powers, and the quantum trait rating. Okay.
Yes. Quantum powers. This is where we start getting into like, there's a lot of different sort of philosophical approaches to how to make your aberrant character. A couple things I will remind you, especially if you want to take advanced chrysalis. You can take a trait that is reduced in cost by taking points of transcendence. And if you want that advanced chrysalis, you need to have a transcendence of 4 anyway. So if you see on the sheet, there's there are little asterisks that say that those traits only cost 6 experience if you also take a point of transcendence. So for example, if you wanted to raise a mega attribute,
Okay.
you can do it cheaper by taking a point of transcendence in conjunction. When you reach transcendence 4, you, I believe, will have a transformation. You also will gain transformations if your quantum trait goes high enough. If you think of your quantum trait as like your total potential, because it is often a minimum for other purchases, like you can only take certain powers at a certain level at a quantum. You have to have a quantum rating of a certain level to take certain powers. If you want to take mega attributes, they cannot exceed your quantum rating, for example. So
mega attributes cannot?
Mega attributes, I believe, cannot exceed your quantum rating or your attribute rating. Let me triple check that I'm not talking out of my.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I think that's what it was like in the first edition too.
Always good to double reference yourself.
I'll look up advanced chrysalis myself because I don't remember the details on it.
The advanced chrysalis is, I did not provide you the details on it. What it does is it gives you a steeper experience discount than chrysalis.
Okay.
As you are raising your attributes once you've attained it. Is the short version of what it does. Effectively, it makes it more attractive for you to acquire more quantum flux and therefore perform chrysalis more often. Yes, you must have a quantum rating equal to or greater than your desired mega attribute rating, as well as a number of dots in the normal attribute equal to or greater than the desired mega attribute rating.
Okay, so boop, boop.
Your mega attributes are detailed on page 183. The other thing to consider about the way that the aberrant system works regarding acts of superhuman prowess is we apply what's called scale. There are different arenas that scale covers. Things like durability is your ability to withstand damage. Might is your ability to lift things. Power is your ability to inflict and release power, often do damage. These are all measured through scale. Mega attributes provide scale frequently. Not always, but frequently.
Okay.
Leadership scale, for example, is a thing that's applicable. So if you have, like, say, a mega manipulation, you can impose scale when you are using that trait. And the difference in scale acts as a sort of exponential advantage against your opponent. Generally speaking, for a narrative perspective, if you are facing down a story guide character and you are at 3 or more scale above that character, there basically isn't anything they can do to touch you in that arena. I generally do not apply that rule to player characters because I like the idea of underdogs being able to, Batman can knock out Green Lantern with a punch, for example. It's possible because you're the heroes of the story. But for non-player characters, for story guide characters, oftentimes if your scale exceeds them by more than 3, they just won't be able to touch you. It's kind of how bullets bounce off of Superman's chest without any need for a die roll ever, because his durability scale is much higher than that of what the gun can
Right. Okay.
do. Make sense?
I think so. I feel like being so new to the system and to Aberrant, a lot of this is currently going maybe between my ears, but I'm starting to get a hang of it. Just gotta look up so many terms to be like, okay,
So-
so quantum trait versus quantum power.
Quantum comes up a lot.
Power tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it does.
So, Millie, the two ways that I separate them are there's your mega edges, which are like your innate super self. And then there's a whole list of powers, the quantum powers, which are things like flight or like any type of energy manipulation, things like that are like outside of yourself.
Yeah, that's a pretty good general. So, in the sake of brevity and fighting off analysis paralysis, we know we want to do magical girl transformation type stuff, right? So we know we want to grab that dormancy. So we know we want to spend some points in the dormancy edge, right? That is going to cost you 3 XP off the top per dot of dormancy. Dormancy 1 lets you sort of fight off detection, but it doesn't change you. Dormancy 2 is where you can literally have a second form. So recommend taking 6 experience off the top right there to get Dormancy 2 for anybody who wants that.
That sounds good.
Ooh, mega edges are expensive.
Are there any things that you know you want your superpowered form to be able to do? The other thing to remember with that Dormancy 2, though, is your mega attributes and whatnot are not accessible when you are dormed down.
I kind of like that.
So yeah, you are you might be bulletproof in your magical girl form, but you're certainly not when you're dormancy down.
Yeah. I kind of like mega resolve. That seems like a fun direction to go.
That is handy to have. You can certainly take that as high as your quantum trait and or resolve, and you can because it is a mega attribute, you can purchase it with transcendence at half cost.
Right. Just want to open multiple copies of this book.
Are there any particular powers or power sets you would like your transformed character to be able to have? Do you want to be able to control the weather? Do you want to be able to control light? Do you want to be able to shoot magical beams? Do you want to be able to fly? What are some of the things that you see your magical, your Nova self being able to do?
Well, I want to make sure that I fit theme-wise with the new magical girl who may have a stronger idea for what specific type of thing. I feel like I don't want to quite go for like the having a gun approach. I think I want to be a pretty physical character. But whether or not that looks like sparkly magic stuff or something a little more grounded, I think I want to make sure I'm on theme with Bianca. Because we could totally be like a bright light, sparkly sunshine, and I punch someone with the rays of moonlight. Or maybe it's a slightly different take on being a magical girl.
So what are your thoughts, Bianca?
I think either or. It's like I kind of want my character to be a bit sparkly. But to me, it doesn't.
Do you want to?
Just like whipping out a gun does not really break my immersion of like magical girl.
Yeah.
So it's like it's what you want to do. And
does the gun shoot a bullet or does the gun shoot marshmallows with a happy face on it that explode while going yay?
And here's the question. Here's a good question for you: is the gun a gun, or is the gun a construct of your control over quantum energy? Because if you wanted to do something where it's like your powers are, for example, it's real easy in Aberrant to build powers around a central theme. If you have control over light, for example, that could be done through elemental mastery, which would require the presence of light for you to use your powers, but then you can do a bunch of things with it. Or you could go with like more of a quantum construct where you are literally building a gun out of quantum energy every time you use that power. But you can also build other things with it. If you think of it like a Green Lantern ring.
I quite like the idea of going with light. I think if there's, I don't know if moonlight makes a lot of sense because unfortunately the moon's not out for a lot of the time. So maybe overall light makes a bit more sense, but I do like that idea.
Sure.
Harden it into a fist, maybe.
And you can choose between, and this is more of like, how do we want to structure the power? You can have an elemental mastery, which would effectively allow you to not only manipulate that, but you could you can create a central power around that would allow you to produce it as well, right? So
I like elemental mastery as a core. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Excellent. So when you select the elemental mastery power, its quantum minimum is listed as dots, which means that you cannot have more dots in your elemental mastery than you have in your quantum trait.
Right.
But
I have so many copies of this open because I want to look at the XP costs as well as going all over the place. So hang on.
Well, and I'm happy to flip back and forth for you as well.
I got multiple monitors.
Your
page 89 that has the costs on it, right?
Correct.
So
and then I guess so is it the quantum trait? That's the one that just says quantum on the sheet?
Yes. And that's the one that,
so
and that's the one that costs 32 experience, or yes, 16 experience up until it reaches 5.
Up until it reaches 5. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get a little bit of that. Let's go. So that would be 16 times 3.
So, sorry, what was that? What happens until it reaches 5?
The quantum trait is 16 experience per dot until it reaches 5. And then it becomes 32 experience per dot because...
Oh, okay, cool.
Because you are then in a whole other world of power.
I don't think I need any quantum powers yet. I feel like these are all... Yeah. What is boost? Is that the one?
Acquiring quantum powers.
Oh, dude,
I
that's
love all the
dope as hell.
tags here too. This is really cool.
Yeah, you can manipulate how your powers work through power tags that allow you to customize it. I find it's best to build that good solid base of what it is I want to do, and then start looking through tags. When you look at, because you decided to go through elemental mastery, when you look
Do you know
at
what
that,
page that one is on?
Yes, that page that is on page 210.
210.
So
okay, because it starts with the tags, right? And then
yes, it goes tags and then powers. So your elemental mastery is on page 210, and you will choose one power. There's a list in the second paragraph there as what your core power of your elemental mastery is. Okay, so you get that power at the rating of your elemental mastery.
okay. My power is 12 experience per dot, probably.
Yes.
Because that's 48 to buy 4 dots in it.
Yep. And you get that power that you're choosing to go with is free at the rating of your elemental mastery.
Oh, it's free at the rating of my...
Right. So if you say elemental mastery light and my main power for the elemental mastery is quantum attack, you would have a quantum attack at 4.
Okay. I'm definitely still slightly confused. So for taking elemental mastery on the XP chart, is that quantum power still?
Yep.
Okay, so it would cost 48 points to get it up to level 4, right?
Yes, provided you also have the quantum of 4.
I do, yes.
Excellent.
And then, so after that, I would then also have XP for specific powers. Is that under quantum power again, or?
Yes, any powers that you buy with it. So, but what one thing that you can do, for example, with the elemental mastery, is you can buy. There's a mega edge called Technique, And for each dot you take in
okay.
technique, that lets you have another power that's based on your elemental mastery. So instead of buying say, I want light blast, so that's going to be my quantum attack, but I also want to be able to like move things around with hard light, that would be elemental anima. Instead of buying the elemental anima power again at 4 dots for 48 points, you would buy the technique mega edge for 12 points, and that would give you the environmental anima at the level of your elemental
Well, let's
mastery.
do that for sure.
It is
That
very
sounds super
hard
good.
to wrap your head around that one. That one was really difficult to explain to my players just because it bounces around so much. But man, it saves points once you get it. Because that's how in our Aberrant game, Mike was able to do all of his fire stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if you caught any episodes of that, but like
I got some of it, which is really helpful for at least knowing at least a little bit of what's happening with the system.
It was a fun game.
While you're looking at that, Bianca, were you also looking at going with light, or did you want to go with?
I mean, you could go with light, and I could go with darkness. We could be really, really cheesy about it.
Yes, let's do that.
We could call it moonlight, but it could just be darkness.
Yeah, that's totally. Yeah, if you want to go light and dark, I love it. I'm getting cloak and dagger vibes, and I love it.
I put in brackets, totally moonlight. There we go.
Is your name Moonshadow?
I think, to be honest, I almost certainly have a very like bright and cheery hero name because we're all about it. Like
Luna.
Exactly.
Artemis.
Luna Stargood or something dorky like that. Like,
So yeah, you
by
can.
the light of the moon, I will accidentally destroy several buildings and have a moral dilemma about it, and also I'm superior to you.
So this is a really good example of how we could have two characters that are like mechanically look the same on paper that are drastically different, right? And because like, let's say you both bought elemental mastery at 4, for example, and then you each went in, you could each have a different base power for your elemental mastery. And if you each bought the technique mega edge, then you could further diversify those by the powers that you choose. The restriction on the technique mega edge is that the subsequent power can't cost more than the main power. Where that really comes into play is like you wouldn't be able to take a whole bunch of extra tags on that power unless you took it at a lower cost, right? Because your tags are part of that cost. Make sense?
I think so. So for stuff like environmental anima, quantum anima, etc., where are those under power descriptions? No.
Those are all listed in the powers section. So like elemental mastery is on page 210. Environmental anima is right after it.
Oh my god! Oh god! Entirely. I'm like, these must be somewhere else. Literally, just scroll up the page.
No problem. Couple of good things that you can do with light or dark. A couple things I would probably point you at in terms of powers would be quantum attack. Obviously, is handy. Quantum field is nice. You're effectively surrounding yourself with a field of energy. Flight is always a handy thing to take as part of those.
I think that might cause friction in the team.
Oh?
So I mean, I feel like maybe at least you should have flight.
I did take Quantum Leap, by the way, which does not allow me to become Dr. Sam Beckett, which has always depressed me. Or whatever the guy in the new series is, which I hope that keeps going. I need more Quantum Leap. I should probably watch the show before I say that. How far can I jump? Hold on. Mega attribute to jump distances. Each dot counts as a range band. So I can Quantum Leap. Ooh, hold on. How far can I jump? I might have to adjust some of my points.
Sure.
Just to make this ridiculous. Where the hell are the range bands? They're inside of
So elemental mastery. So the base effect, I'm going to go. So the base effect, I think, is quantum attack.
Okay.
And then with Mega Edge, acquire other effects as techniques. So then for purchasing the other effects, how much does it cost per dot on those?
It's 12 per dot for the mega, because technique is a mega edge.
Oh, wait. So it's 12 per dot for each of these side things independently. I don't take Mega Edge and then I have a discount. It's
No. So the way it works is each of the powers, you get it at that rating, right? Or you get the same amount of cost for it. So instead of buying the powers at 48 for a level 4 power, you spend 48 for the one power, and then each additional power you choose is another dot in the technique mega edge.
Oh, okay.
The biggest disadvantage that provides to you is that they're all coming from the same source. So you can't, for example, use all your powers in the same turn without splitting your dice pool up, because it's all the same power. Make sense?
Yeah, I'll probably pick up a second power as well for funsies, but I like focusing in this direction because I like the light and dark theming. It's very cutesy.
It is very cool.
All right. Environmental anima is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's handy. You're kind of like moving things around with the environment. And as you look at those sub powers, you notice that you get certain things for free when you select them. So, for example, when you select quantum attack, which is listed on page 219, you get. You'll note down in your quantum attack on that second sheet, you'll want to note down that you have an enhancement equal to quantum divided by 2. We always round up in Trinity. So if you have a quantum score of 4, you get a 2 enhancement every time you use the power. It automatically gets the close tag, which allows it to work at close range. And each additional dot after the first provides +1 power scale to your attacks. So because you start at scale 1, you have a scale equal to that value of your quantum attack. So in this case, 4. So you're shooting people at power scale 4. Then it notes that you can spend points equal to your dots in the power to apply additional tags from the list that are listed there. So if you want your quantum attack to have a greater range, for example, you can spend to increase that range with the ranged tag.
Okay.
And you get free tags basically up to your dots. So you have, and all the costs are listed next to the tags.
Right. I do think I'm going to go close quarters on this one because I think it's more fun to punch someone with the moon.
Excellent.
So let's play around with that a
can
little
your character's real last name be Armstrong?
Maybe it should be, yeah.
Or Aldrin. Either way.
Betty
When
Aldrin.
Neil Armstrong went to the moon, he realized when he looked back at the Earth that there are only 2 types of people: him and suckers who had never been to the moon.
Nice.
I'm trying to find the damn range bands, and I can't. My research abilities are failing me.
You're looking for the range
Where's the
table?
scale? Yeah. So I'm not seeing it in my Trinity core for some reason.
Page 79 to 80 is where range is covered.
Is it?
The actual range chart is on page 80 of Trinity Core.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, I was
You're good.
looking at it different. Okay, so I can. Okay, so hold on. All right, let's do this math. Okay, so if I have quantum leap,
I'm going to put a list of things to figure out at the bottom here.
Sure.
can jump long distances. Each dot count as a range band. 1 dot allows jumping to short. So
that means you can jump extreme at Mega Strength 4 or Mega Might 4.
I can jump 1,000 meters.
Yeah.
So I only have Mega Strength 3, unfortunately. I'm weak. But, well, I mean, I still have 22 XP to spend. Can I
Remember
afford?
Quantum's got to go up too.
I got quantum. Oh shit, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta do some math here to make sure this all fits because it's gonna be pretty tight, I think.
Oh, 22 XP. What else can I get? I can get another point of quantum, which isn't really useful to me. Like without other powers.
Also, I would like to, since we're getting into we're running low on points already. The other thing I would like to remind you is that aside from taking transformations to reduce your costs, I'm sorry, aside from taking transcendence to reduce your cost, you may also choose to take an additional transformation to reduce the cost of a Nova trait, including your quantum. A low-level transformation reduces the trait's experience cost by 3, and a mid-level will reduce it by 6. You cannot have more total transformations than twice your quantum rating.
Well, done. Let's take a look. I've already got 2 transformations, so... Yeah!
So, Bianca, we've got the... what power did you settle on for your core elemental mastery power?
I'm kind of liking the idea of like having fields just in general to like deflect stuff,
Okay.
Protect and stuff, but at the same time I do want to have a light beam.
Well, that's where you can, so if you wanted to, you could say your core power is quantum field. Now that surrounds you only, generally speaking.
Yes, but can I use myself and the field to then act as a shield?
Yeah, you can impose yourself between people if you want to.
Okay, that's good. I need that for drama.
And then you could take the technique Mega Edge to add quantum attack. Another power on the darkness side that you might want to look into is Shroud.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I'm debating picking that up with a Mega Edge because it actually comes through the environmental mastery is one of the options there.
Yep.
Or teleport feels fun too.
Teleport is fun. You move through shadows, basically.
Yeah. Very La Sombra of me.
Okay, so I have 34 XP now. What can I do with this?
What transformations did you end up taking?
So I took Inhuman Beauty because I wasn't originally going to, but it's Brad Pitt in his other form. And like looking at Inhuman Beauty, it makes people uncomfortable to look at, which is every dude who looked at any part of Fight Club with Brad Pitt with his shirt off. Any dude has looked at that and been like, that's not fair.
That's fair.
Vocal shift, because in my form I want to use this voice, right? I want to do the All Might, and then I took uncontrolled power and uncontrolled dormancy.
Oh, okay. So
I think when he gets stressed, he transforms.
Excellent.
But he still will have his normal dormancy so that he can. Well, do you need it?
Do you need what?
Dormancy and because it says you effectively have 2 dots of dormancy, except you're not in control.
Right. So what that would mean is if you also have, the way it would work if you took dormancy normally at 2 dots, you would have control over entering your dorm down form.
Okay.
If you have uncontrolled dormancy in addition to that, the way I would rule that means there's also a condition that will make you lose your powers. So, for example, Superman might have uncontrolled dormancy exposure to kryptonite.
Okay.
Right? So that would be the way I would rule that. So I would say that would be fine.
Okay. So so I should keep dormancy as a purchase trait.
Yeah, if you want, as long as you want to be able to have that controllable moment of change, in addition to a trigger that will take your powers away and a trigger that will make your powers start.
So it's the difference between the Edward Norton Hulk and the Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
Right.
The you don't have to throw me off a plane to get my powers. I'm always angry, but I also sometimes am angrier than that and
Right,
kind of
but-
lose my control.
Right, exactly. But also, if, for example, I'm on a floating sky platform that explodes and shit gets dropped on me, I'm gonna Hulk out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm only made of so much man, you
Right,
know.
exactly.
Okay, so that's pretty good. I was looking at some of the psychological ones. I might take one of those as well.
Okay.
Perhaps narcissism or something. Being in front of cameras does that to people.
Sure.
Especially when you have, how many freaking followers do I have? Enough. What is mega presence? What can I do with that?
Amazing things. Bianca, had you settled on what your quantum trait is at right now?
Right now, it is. I have spent enough points for it to be 3 so
Okay.
far.
Excellent. And Millie, do you have any questions, or are you nearing the end of your expenditures of points, or?
At this point, I have a list of things that I have for sure spent points on, which is 114, and I am making a list of potentials, and I want to make sure that there's something like that. There's nothing I'm missing that I really need to have. Like so for dormancy, we've got the 2 points in it for that to transform back to like your everyday random person mode, and then suddenly, boom! I have the powers of moonlight. Is there more stuff that I need for a transformation effect to happen?
No, the dormancy should cover that
Okay.
entirely. You may wish to, just as a general, for all of you, a couple things to consider are mega stamina and toughness. Just so that you are aware, if you lack toughness, you're probably going to be operating at a durability scale of 1. Quantum field is another way to get around that, where you have a higher durability scale while that's active. But lacking mega stamina and toughness, you're just as susceptible to physical injury as a baseline.
Right. Which is pretty
Understood.
dramatic.
There is also dense flesh is another way to get additional injury boxes. Once this is all said and done, we'll calculate your health and how many injury boxes you have. But if you have mega stamina, you can take what's called dense flesh, which is a mega edge, which gives you some extra injury levels.
Mm-hmm.
So I always advise
Sorry.
people consider that before they,
And I
consider
think I have
themselves done.
36 points. So theoretically, I could purchase 3 things that cost 12.
So you could do like mega stamina 1, and then dense flesh 1, toughness 1, or you could do mega stamina 1, toughness 2. You actually don't need mega stamina to take toughness. You can just straight up take it up to your quantum, if you wanted to do that.
Is toughness an edge?
Toughness is a mega
It's
edge.
It's a mega edge.
Yep, page 197.
You...
Another option is
there
regeneration.
it is.
If you have mega resolve
Generation could be fun.
or mega stamina, which just lets you spend quantum points to remove injury conditions and status conditions. So instead of taking time to heal, you just literally spend quantum points and you heal up.
Okay, so
Quantum equal to edge dots. Okay, so I couldn't buy toughness above where I'm at. And then mega edges also okay, everything costs 12. That's actually kind of nice. Well, not everything, but many things cost 12.
Most important stuff costs 12.
And I should take another look at Transcendence to get a better idea of how to save some point dollars on that.
Transcendence and transformations. And what were you going to say, Kelly? There.
I was going to say, don't forget that you can take transformations and you can take transcendence to lower the cost of things with asterisks.
But the only way to lower the cost of quantum is by taking additional transformations.
Okay. Okay, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask Bianca how you're doing, if you need anything, if there's anything you need me to clarify, or any suggestions you would like me to make.
So the mega stuff.
Your mega attributes?
Yeah, it's like do you need to have like a maxed out attribute before picking the
No,
the mega?
you can have attribute at 1 and a mega attribute at 1. Just your mega attribute can't go higher than your attribute.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. And was Advanced Chrysalis an enhanced edge or a mega edge? It was enhanced edge, right?
It's actually just an edge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just an edge.
Okay, let me double check what that does, because I've got 7 XP left.
Fourth on the quantum trait.
So I will read you the current version of Advanced Chrysalis because it's come up a lot. A Terra with this edge has gone through at least 1 Chrysalis. Perhaps more, though no Nova other than Divismal is known to have gone through Chrysalis more than 3 times. When you have Advanced Chrysalis, you can spend accumulated experience on Nova traits at a rate of 3/4 the normal cost. This means mega attributes at a cost of 8, quantum at a cost of 12, and 6 plus quantum at a cost of 24.
Oh, wow.
This may be combined with the reduction one would receive from taking a point of transcendence as well. You can add up to 2 dots to any Nova trait when you perform Advanced Chrysalis. Your Chrysalis time is cut in half, and flux can be removed at a cost of 1 experience point per flux. Otherwise, it functions as normal Chrysalis.
Why wouldn't everybody just do that?
Because you got to be a member of the Teragen and you got to be in the club.
You got to be in the club. All right, I'm going to take that. So that's 3 XP. So I have 4 XP left. What can I do with 4 XP? I can get path edges, and
What
that's
does regular Chrysalis do again?
Regular.
I got the one.net.
It's on Chrysalis is detailed on page 97. What it does is
Evolution is there.
it helps you deal with accumulated flux, page 94.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like it changed anything right now.
You can spend experience to improve required Nova traits without having to max out that trait previously, which is handy. You can make tweaks to your Nova's abilities while you're in Chrysalis. So if you enter Chrysalis, you can move around your mega attributes, your mega edges, and your quantum powers. You can swap out transformations. You can spend experience to reduce their accumulated flux. And if you take on an additional transformation, you can reduce your accumulated flux to 0.
So I guess I have one question I've been trying to figure out exactly the cost on. So for Transcendence, it looks like I get a point of it when I'm at a 4th. I get a point to my 4th dot in Quantum. So I have 1 point of Transcendence from that. And there's also saying I can purchase something for half the normal experience cost if I also take a point of Transcendence at that time. That doesn't cost anything. I just take a point of Transcendence and I can do Mega Stamina as part of that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get your Mega Stamina at half cost for taking that point of Transcendence.
Okay.
Which is why I have Transcendence 5.
I think I'm gonna get a little bit of Transcendence because it sounds kind of cool. I don't really know why it's bad yet. I'm sure I'll figure that out later.
The problem that Transcendence presents is it creates a complication when you're dealing with baselines, because you are so inhuman that they get freaked out by it.
That's understandable, but we can cleverly disguise ourselves as totally regular people who they should worship anyways. So don't worry about it. So let's take some Transcendence here. Wait, and this works for quantum power as well?
Yes.
So does this mean that my elemental mastery could theoretically have cost less than 48?
Yes, if you, but remember it's per dot. So, for example, if you wanted to buy all 4 dots of your quantum of your element's mastery,
Lots.
that would be
That'd
4
lots.
transcendence. Yeah.
I think maybe I'll use this for stuff like mega stamina and maybe some additional silly power stuff.
Do it. Get it high. It's a short run game.
Yeah, we may as well explode and be weird and human, totally not gods, but we will be soon. Don't worry about it.
And
Fine.
so Bianca, we've got you had settled on the quantum anima for your or not anima, I'm sorry, quantum field for your base power, correct? I think you're muted, sorry.
I'm going to try to use my power to protect, because protecting is good. But also, I have to have a light beam.
Of course. So we got you got quantum field, you bought the technique, and you have the quantum attack, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And those should both be at the same level at what your elemental mastery is. Were there any other? I guess how many XP do you have left at the moment?
I might have around 40.
Okay. A couple of other things you might want to look at in terms of additional powers to buy along with your as additional techniques. Quantum aura might come in handy, where you surround your body in a damaging aura of some type, such as light. So like you literally can glow so much that you damage people.
Yeah, so painful to even look at. I like that.
So you could get that with a technique. Do you want to be able to make illusions?
Nah, I'll skip out on that one. It sounds too much like a character that would actually have brains than mine. Right?
How about environmental anima? This allows you to manipulate forces, in this case light, to create changes in the surrounding environment, from raising or lowering the temperature, condensing moisture. So the way that this would work with light is you can create a barrier. You can create a complication to people's actions, or create environmental damage with the light. So if you want to make like a shield of light that would cover an area, for example, that would be done with environmental anima.
I would say I took it for moonlight, so we could be twinsies on it.
Oh my god, yes.
Excellent.
It sounds like it can also allow you to influence stuff like gravity, which I'm really into, because I love that idea quite a lot.
Yes, you can do things to create. If you take the non-terrestrial tag, which I would recommend, you would be able to affect things like local gravity, radiation. You would choose what that is, and you can do it as a 0-point power tag, so it's no cost to you in tags to have it be non-terrestrial only. So it would be light only, and then that would cost you nothing. So, or if you wanted it to be gravity only, that costs nothing. Because environmental anima often comes from like you're using earth or water or something that's like tangible and physical. But if you're using it as light, then it's just light. Does that make sense?
And that is...
I think so. So then currently I have 6 XP that I might spend on a toughness and another dot of transcendence. 2, 3, I should be at 4 of those right now. And then I guess plus the one from hitting quantum 4.
Yep.
Right. A little human-esque. Human-ish.
So And then you'll want to make sure that you have when your quantum hits 4, you get a low-level transformation. And I believe when your transcendence hits 4, you get a low-level transformation. Let me double check that.
Oh, okay. So I got to sort those out. So somewhere to put mega attributes.
Yeah.
Just put them under mega edges for now.
Oh, no. If you look at your attributes, you'll see there are mega versions underneath the attributes.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It's literally right there. Brilliant.
Breach all die, even that underlined, as I like to say. And Bianca, what's your current transcendence at?
I haven't added anything to it, so it's
Excellent.
Right now just at 1.
Beautiful. If you're looking specifically at protecting people, I'm trying to look at a couple other ways that you might be able to do that.
It feels like a very noble thing for this character to try to protect, but actually they were the one being protected all along. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so transforms.
How are things going, Kelly? You're having to deal with us noobs going.
Oh, I'm good. I have an awkward number of XP left, and I'm trying to figure out what to do.
How much
I've
XP?
kind of pushed myself into it. So it turns out I have 10.
Okay.
And I'm trying to see if I can fandangle another point of toughness somehow. But I feel like Mega Crush is really also very important.
Mega Crush
But
is
if
handy.
I could, it is handy. But I could also buy a. I could figure out a way to get a another dot of a Mega attribute, and then people could have a Mega Crush on me.
Ooh. Oh, mid-level transformations too. If you have transcendence of 6, which I'm only 1 away from, I could use 6 more XP for something. Like,
Do it.
we could have so many transformations. Okay.
One technique you might want to look at, Bianca, is you could buy the impose technique on quantum deflection.
Okay.
So that would basically, because you're adding a technique or adding a tag to it, it would reduce your dots from what your elemental mastery is by 1. So if you bought it as a technique, you'd have you have elemental mastery 3 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could buy as with the impose tag, you could buy quantum deflection 2, and that lets you increase someone else's defense.
Oh, that sounds very romantic. I want that.
So effectively, you're throwing like a light shield in front of a friend and making their defense higher. So you would record that at a level 2. So again, getting into the weeds on how the techniques and the power suites work, as long as the power costs are the same, you're good. So if you wanted to add tags to a power above and beyond what the power normally affords you, you can just take that power at a lower dot rating and still have it be part of your technique. Make sense?
Yes. Did these cost 16?
The techniques cost 12.
12. Oh, shoot.
'Cause it's a mega edge.
Get some mega dexterity. Okay, so I want to make sure I've got the right number of transforms here. So if I have 6 dots in transcendence, do I have 3 total, or is there 1 more?
What's your quantum rating?
4.
Just double checking here so that I don't tell you
See, I
anything
feel like there
wrong.
was 1 more, but I just want to make sure.
So when you get to each dot of transcendence above 3, you acquire a transformation. 1 low level each at transcendence 4 and 5, 1 mid level each at transcendence 6 and 7, and a high level each at transcendence 8 and 9.
Okay, sounds good. So is that only 3 then?
Yeah, and then if your quantum reaches 4, let me
I think I
double
get
check.
a point of transcendence, but I don't think
Right,
it
it gives you
adds a
transcendence, not
transformation
transformations.
specifically.
Right. There you go.
Brilliant. Haha. All right. Feeding requirement sounds kind of fun. Am I a vampire?
Do it.
Maybe not. I mean, kind of, maybe. That could be fun to do. It would be fun to have a wine glass with blood in it. Or I could have to like bathe in moonlight or something dorky. That sounds kind of cute
That could be
too.
cool. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
I like the idea that you have to like spend an hour under the light of the moon once a day.
I got like sunbathe just like on the roof of our fancy building, just like on a little lounge chair, but you know, at like 2 a.m. It was
Well,
a
and-
cloudy day.
Superman.
I'm in a real bad mood the next day.
And I would like to call to attention to the fact that if none of you all have bought the Wealth Edge, the chances of you having a fancy building is pretty small. So
I
if you're
have
looking
3
for
dots in
places to spend, okay.
I have a little.
Oh, yeah, I should.
I don't know
I
if
should
that's a
crank
ton
that
of
up.
wealth, but hopefully it's a little. I got it entirely from the rolls. I haven't spent any XP on it.
That's fair.
Thinking of doing it, but I don't know.
One place to burn through some of those Nova points. Do not underestimate the value of having just regular old edges. They do come in handy. So
Well, I did get completely to 150, although I think I'm debating dropping one of them and taking some regular edges as well. We'll see.
we've all been reminded to hydrate.
Oh, thank you for the hydration.
you.
I appreciate it.
Wait, I think was that me? No. Yes, that was me.
Oh, well,
Okay, cool. I just
Did you had to-
absentmindedly. like-
You absentmindedly bought yourself a
And
drink.
I was like,
Your eyes locked across the bar, and you're like, "I like the look of you,"
nice.
Yeah.
which is good. You should. You should
very
have that.
empty right now.
And again,
You should like yourself.
if we need to make some final tweaks during the week, we absolutely can do so. Also, to remind you, normally in Trinity, at the start of each session, you have the opportunity to make tweaks to your mundane attributes and skills if you need to. Chrysalis is what allows you to do that with Mega and Quantum traits. So if we get to the first session and you're like, oh, I didn't really use this skill, I think I need this one more, you can move a dot from one place to another once a session, effectively.
That's good.
The biggest caveat being that once you move a dot to something, you have to roll that trait in the session you move it. So
silly things that I'm debating for a medium level transformation. Do I take a vulnerability to like light, like sunlight? Not just being in the sun, but for light based attacks.
I mean, that could be. You know what could be really awesome?
If
Well,
Bianca betrays me.
Oh my god.
no, I'm just thinking of because I was thinking about Cloak and Dagger because your character's concepts kind of reminds me of that, and because you're older and more, I guess, or have been a Nova longer, I guess I should say. Perhaps, you could take the feeding requirement and have it be like literally specifically the light that Bianca's character generates.
Oh, for the feeding requirements?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, actually I really love that.
Are you two dating? Or are you? I feel
Magical
not.
girl thing.
not-
Okay, of course.
Or alternatively, the moonlight is kind of grooming, but like cattle grooming.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little dubious.
It's a little dubious. How dark is
I
this
do
world?
like the having to bathe in the light of the moon at night thing. So like that's dorky as heck, and it sounds like it'll be hilarious for descriptions. But I also love the idea of some kind of overlap with Bianca's character's powers. But I'm looking for like the mid-level transformation. Like I could be allergic to it.
Oh my god.
That could be cool. Yeah, like you have a reaction if you're targeted with them.
Hmm. Physiological shift, power loss, like losing power in some circumstance could be fun.
Power loss under direct bright light might be neat for you.
Oh yeah, that's actually a massive vulnerability. I kind of like that. Yeah, so maybe it's like how specific can it be? Let's see. Certain circumstances. It could require a particular talisman. All right, this power is at night or during the day when trapped in an enclosed space with phobia.
Advanced Chrysalis is a 3-dot.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll cost
really
6
like
XP because it's a path one, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So that means I only have 4 XP. Good.
Direct sunlight, or even like in a situation where she doesn't cast a shadow or something like that for like no powers at all. I just worry that can't cast a shadow might be challenging to set up. You need like a whole bunch of lights.
Sure, but I mean that's valid. That just means that somebody would have to A, learn that about you, and B, apply it. Or you might wind up in a situation where
cast shadow.
where you're in. You might wind up in a situation where there's a lot of bright light, and you're just really
But I'm thinking there's sort of an amusing end on this too, because you can't cast a shadow if you're in pitch darkness. If there's no light at all,
right?
You've got no shadow. Everything is a shadow. So she sort of has to be right on this edge where there's like a little bit of light, which I think sort of fits in nicely with the dynamics of the character who's trying to like hold on to that little bit of light as well. So that's kind of cute, actually.
I like that a lot. That's super cool.
So we can do no complete darkness or light. I have to be the night, but not quite that late night, like 2 a.m.
The lowercase.
And then I gotta go to bed.
Your name's Twilight.
I was debating that. I've seen too much Spy X Family.
You could make it better by calling yourself like Twilight Soldier or something like that. Twilight Soldier Artemis.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah,
Almost like I know my anime.
Let's talk
Sailor Moon villain names.
Let's talk names. Do you have anything in mind for your character's name, Kelly?
I had 3 going into this. One was Ultiman.
Mm-hmm.
One is just using Gilgamesh, and the other is calling himself Sovereign.
I like Sovereign because that sounds like a dick Superman name.
Right? It's so hard to find a dick Superman name.
Dick?
Just like Superman, but a jerk. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got that big dick energy, but not in the good way. Everything about this character is
your birth name should definitely be Richard.
I was my partner kept trying to push that my birth name should be Rex or Regis. Because have you ever met a Regis that was a cool guy? No.
You could be Richard Regis.
Richard Regis. All right, done. I got my R&R. Oh man.
How about you, Bianca? Any thoughts on names?
I was thinking a little bit of Aurora.
Aurora, I love it.
I like that quite a lot.
I love it. Any thoughts
but I don't have a surname.
Oh, I was thinking
where's Aurora from etymologically? Is that what word is that? It's not Greek, is it?
Is it Greek or Latin?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking I might go for something along those lines as well. It'd be fun to play with Nyx, being like the deity of night, who's all mothering styles for a couple of other deities.
Oh yeah.
I do like, but I feel like there needs to be a cute name. Like I definitely have enough money, I think, to have branding help on this. Like It's got to be like a cutesy, sparkly name like Nixie Midnight or something. Like, I feel like it's got to be chipper and cheery, even if nothing about it is chipper or cheery.
Nixie Midnight
so
is cool.
There's
And Aurora is Latin.
It's Latin.
Latona,
Okay.
Lido, Asteria, Selene.
Selene's not bad. I mean,
Goddess of
Selene
the
can
Moon.
almost be an actual name.
And then Erebus is another one.
Yeah.
So were you thinking Aurora as your superhero name or Aurora as like your just mundane name?
I was thinking it would be the mundane name.
Okay.
You know, it would be something or some, yeah, because I was like, oh yeah, it's associated with light. So of course, this was kind of a little bit of destiny for her.
Of course, yeah.
So.
I'm actually really liking Nixie Midnight. I might stick with that for the superhero
Nixie
name.
Midnight.
It's fun to say. And then I need like a really good business last name because I love like Celine as a real first name, but there's got to be like some big business name for that with like a life of privilege and all of that stuff.
Sutherford,
Which is the oh yeah, could work.
Luther.
Selene, Luther.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, Luther sounds good.
Hold on. Rich,
Luther Ford.
rich people last name.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Do you want sibilance?
Yeah, sibilance is fun.
Okay, so pulling the rich people of the world last name list. So let's see: Schaefer, Schermerhorn, Schindler, Schroeder, Seinfeld, Simmons,
Seinfeld.
Soros, Spielberg, Swarovski, Swarovski are some of the big ones.
Be kind of fun because they're connected to diamonds, right?
Yeah, and they shine like a
Sparkling
diamond.
stones. Yeah.
Did you license the
feel
song
like I
from
wanna do
Rihanna
like
to play?
I mean, whenever I show up, absolutely.
Shine light in the beautiful sea.
But I feel like it's got to be like a knockoff version of one of the names. Like it can't quite be Swarovski. It should be like
Swarovski.
Pondering. Swarovski is
How I pronounce it in my head whenever I read it is how it's
There you go.
Sure, sounds good.
Trying to think
Sottenheim.
Trying to think of good names. that would
Satanovich.
be- I always lean into the like alliteration stuff. So like, what would that's what I'm trying to think of surnames with an A for Aurora.
I lived in a house with all superhero names for a while. It was great. We had me with the double like K sounding consonants. We had two S's and we had two M's, and the last name of the dude with the M's was literally Messiah, spelled differently, but it was like, oh
Right.
god.
So what was it
I
like
remember
living
that
with the
guy.
Legion of Superheroes?
Honestly, a lot of arguments about like leaving the stove on.
That sounds about right.
Well, because y'all were dashing off to do various acts of justice and gallantry. You can't turn the stove off when justice.
Yeah, or
needs
Mr.
to be-
Eminem almost burning down the house making ramen because he went out to go get Chinese food instead. We came home and the house was on
Wow.
fire. We're like, what the shit? It burned through the it burned the soldering off the pan that was on the stove. It was ridiculous.
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
Oh my goodness.
The dangers of ramen.
the danger of the
Apparently,
ramen.
yeah.
Raw man. That's who we're fighting in this, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Well, I just took a look at the clock and I realized how late we're getting. So I don't want to keep anyone too far beyond broadcast time. But I do, Bianca, if you've still got some character creation stuff to address, we can tackle that off stream if you want to. As I know you still had some points to spend, right?
I think so, yeah. And in general, I might also just go over again to make sure that it's like the correct amount of points that I've spent
Sure.
since I was like. It seems that Kelly gained some points back when he did it, so I also
Yeah, do an audit because like it gets complicated.
It does get complicated. Feel free to do an audit. What we'll do is I'll have each of you, if you don't mind, email me once you finished going over your character sheet and making sure it's good. Email it to me. I'll go over it, make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. Hit you up with any questions that we might have. I would like to just make you aware for your own sort of reference that we will be setting the game in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Great Lakes Avengers, go!
And will have each been so while your status as a Nova may be different in terms of like how long you've been erupted and how long you've been part of the Teragen, you will have all relatively recently been approached by a member of the Teragen, formerly of the network and one of the founders of Nova Vigilance, a woman by the name of Tempest, who has sort of kind of asked you to join this offshoot of the network called Nova Vigilance, and sort of given you the mission statement, the pitch that we're going to be superheroes to try to fight off aberrant extremism and try to keep baseline safe and try to prove to the world and ourselves that we are not to be hated and feared, or feared and hated, or disliked and frightening. I don't want to get sued. So that's the general backstory. Sound vaguely workable to all folks concerned? Sweet.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, in that case, go ahead, Kelly.
I was just say I said boop because I sent you the sheet.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can do the same with my list of XP costs and stuff. I guess I have one last question on the sheet, and I feel like maybe it's an important thing, maybe it's not.
Sure.
What does moment of inspiration refer to at the top of the sheet?
So your moment of inspiration is what you, the way by which you erupted, what triggered that. And if you'll look at the back of the Trinity core book, those are listed in where are we at here? I believe at the start of the talent section.
Oh, I just found it. 157
Yes, thank you.
for moments of inspiration.
Yep, you select one of those and gain a dot in the attribute that it suggests.
Oh,
I
damn.
missed that entirely.
Yep. My fault, I did too. We also will need
I'll
to
do that real
calculate
quick.
all of your health. So you should all have on your character sheet, you see the injury conditions. Everybody gets one bruised, one injured, and one maimed. If you have a stamina of 3, you gain an additional injured condition.
Okay.
And if you have a stamina of 5, you gain an additional bruised condition. If you have dense flesh or anything else that grants you injury conditions, it's described under that power what additional injury conditions you gain.
Okay.
Make sense?
Does Mega
think
Stamina
so.
grant you any other injury conditions?
Mega Stamina itself does not grant you injury conditions. What it does do is give you a scale when it comes to resisting environmental damage,
Okay.
resisting pain. So your actual your indirect damage gets enhancement, and your time to resolve an injury condition goes down, and your lifespan goes up. But dense flesh is what would give you the additional injury conditions. Make sense?
I
Okay.
think so.
All right. Well, with that, I think we have enough to make us a dangerous team, and we will plan on beginning play with session 1 same time next week. And we will have Tim with us. I will inform him of the not only our yes goes and no goes, which I have noted and will save right here, right now, before I forget to. And I'll get his character cooked up, and we'll be ready to rock and roll next session with our first foray into heroics. So since we're wrapping up, let's have everyone tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote. And this time we'll start things off with Kelly. Please give us your pertinent details.
Hey everybody, I am and have been and will be Kelly. I am going to be playing Sovereign or Ultiman. I'm still juggling that to see which one's cheesier, which is going to be a lot of fun. You can find me at twitch.tv or youtube.com/dorktales or wherever you get your podcast. And to promote stuff, we have a new series starting next week of Dragonlance: Shadow of the Dragon Queen, which is the 5th edition return of Dragonlance to the world's oldest and most manual focused role-playing game. And I am also going to be doing some video game streaming on Twitch probably today, because I finally am going to crack open God of War Ragnarok. So come and hang out with me. That'll be in probably at 2 p.m. today, so about 2 hours. Just enough time to have some lunch and make sure my tech doesn't explode.
Love it. Beautiful. Well, and I've thrown the link to that in the chat as well, to Dorktales. Go over there and give them a follow and a sub and all that fun stuff. And next up, that brings us to Millie. Please give us your pertinent details.
Sure. Hi, will probably continue to be Millie and or Bunny Hearted. The pronouns are they and them or she and her. And this I'm playing Nixie Midnight, who I think is going to use she and her. Stuff to promote. I don't know what to promote. I'm a doofus, VTuber who does cozy, comfy, and ASMR content almost every day in 2 hours from now, including today. And I got to get organized for that because I think I'm hosting a poetry night. It's gonna be interesting to get that going at the last moment. And I see Dorks putting snort emotes in chat, and I see you, and I'll have my revenge, Riggs. I'll have my revenge. This has been really cool. I'm so excited for this. I'm hyped for next week.
I am so excited and happy to have you. And what was the channel where you do the?
Oh, it is my Twitch username over here. Hang on, I can be a doofus. This doofus is me. I'm a doofus.
Ha! I'll beat you to it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Bamboozled by Dorktail. Shout out.
Make sure you head over and give them a follow and a sub and all that fun stuff as well.
No, I'm not yet doing tabletop role-playing stuff on my own channel, but I have an all of VTubers D&D project I'm slowly getting off the ground, so there will be some mayhem on that soon.
Beautiful. Looking forward to hearing more about that. Hopefully we'll get to hear more about that before we end our tales here.
I hope so too, otherwise I'm way behind schedule.
Fair enough. So yeah, definitely go over and give Millie a follow. And last but not least, Bianca, please, your pertinence.
Yes, hello. I am Bianca for now. We shall see what happens. I'm going to play Aurora, and it's going to be a she because I tend to alternate the gender of my characters whenever I play tabletops. I don't have anything active right now to promote, except I think that if you guys could do me a favor, is that if you have any local shops and such, like make suggestions to them to like get physical books of lines that you like, because it's good. It's good
yes,
stuff.
Definitely.
And I'm just thinking, because I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so much fun to play, and then I'm like, it's going to take me a month to like print to order to get this book, and it's sad. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm probably going to go to the store and just say like, hey, you guys, have you heard of this one? It's really good.
You should
get that.
Definitely go to Indie Press or go to your local game store and request a copy of Aberrant. But it is, I still believe, available at Indie Press Revolution as well. Let me double, triple check and make sure I'm not talking completely out of my tailpipe here. See.
It is on drive-thru. And
it is on drive-thru.
Right now, very, very cheap, you guys.
$2 in PDF on drive-thru for Aberrant. Go pick it up. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. Trinity Continuum Aberrant is still available over at Indie Press Revolution. Go over and snag a copy there, or to ask for it at your friendly local game store and have them order the copy for you and let them worry about the shipping. So good call, and thank you for shouting that out, Bianca. Appreciate it. I guess that leaves me. I'm Travis, he, they. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them. I want to remind you that Sidereals for Exalted 3rd Edition is at current Kickstarter. And it is funded and well into stretch goals, and it's a great time to hop on board and check that out. We got the 90% off on the vast majority of the Trinity Continuum 2nd Edition PDFs over at Drive-Thru RPG. And the last thing I want to remind you of is make sure you get your shots, please. Take care of yourselves, take care of everyone around you, and the best way to do that is through modern medical science. So please make sure you have done so. And we want you all to be in good health and to be in good spirits so that you can come here next week and watch us destroy Minneapolis. It's going to be fun. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you real soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.